Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Shutterfly. If you're like us, you take a lot of pictures because you have a camera right in your hand all the time. How would you not take a lot of pictures? And we're taking all these pictures, more than we've ever taken in the history of the world.
What are you going to do with them all?
That's the thing. You used to get a solid picture, and then you'd look through them, and you could enjoy them. Now they're like back on your camera roll. You can't even find them. You don't want that. That's why the cool thing you need to do, and what I did, and I think it's pretty cool, is create a Shutterfly photo book.
Oh.
What I did, and you're going to enjoy this, Jimmy, because I haven't showed this to you yet, but took all of our pictures from being on tour this year.
Oh.
All live show pictures, us backstage, us on stage, doing all that stuff, and like some of the, just the venues and things, and made a little photo book out of that. Also, they have free 24-hour designer service as well. With their 24-hour designer service, a professional designer is going to lay out the book for you for free in just a day. Make something that means something with Shutterfly. Enjoy 40% off orders over $29 with promo code SMALLTOWN. See site for promotional details.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
This message comes from Greenlight. Ready to start talking to your kids about financial literacy? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app that teaches kids and teens how to earn, save, spend wisely, and invest with your guardrails in place. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Join millions of parents and kids building healthy financial habits together on Greenlight. Get started risk-free at greenlight.com/Wondery.
This week, in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, a man's troubled past catches up to all those around him as he spins out of control over the course of one harrowing and awful night. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. A very exciting day. We're pumped. We're going to announce tour dates on this show right away.
That's nice.
We're going to do that in the front here, try in our house cleaning section of all of that. Very quickly, we'll get into everything else. Thank you for your reviews and everything last week. We appreciate it. Those reviews help on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts. They help drive you up the charts, so they're really important. So if you haven't done it yet, please get on that. If you feel like it, give us 5 stars. Tell us. It doesn't matter what you say. It's not for our ego. We're really just, it's just for business, really. So do that. We appreciate the hell out of that. And any platform you listen on, go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your merchandise needs and all of your tour dates, which we're going to put on there. The tour dates are huge. Also, listen to Crime and Sports. Really listen to Crime and Sports. We've been saying it lately, and it's very true. It's almost better if you don't like sports, because we're gonna make fun of a lot of it.
I like sports, and I don't remember.
That's the thing. That's the thing. Also, if you want to be a producer, we have a long list at the end of the show of amazing people who are our producers who we love dearly. And if you want to do that, you can do that very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports or head over to PayPal. Use our email address, which is crimeinsports sports@gmail.com to make a one-time donation.
Those are on the website, too. Along
Good
with
Lord,
what else is there?
do we love you? There are lots of stuff, merchandise and
shit in your hands.
Tour dates. Here are those papers. Those are tour dates in my hand right now. Let's do this quickly before we start off the show here. We will buzz through this. It's starting off July 18th at the Tampa Improv in Tampa, Florida. July 19th in Orlando. August 2nd in Columbus, Ohio. Ooh, look at us going to Ohio. August 3rd in Cleveland, Ohio.
Right.
We are hanging out in Ohio for 2 days. What the hell is going on there? August 15th is the Funny Bone in Omaha, Nebraska. It is not Lincoln, so I'll go there. Please do not tell me to go to Perkins when I'm there, because I will lose my mind.
That's a redirect also, because it's supposed to be in Des Moines. Right?
And there was a date thing, so we're going to be in Omaha instead of Des Moines. Okay. So sorry, Des Moines. Some other time.
We'll get you soon.
Yeah, drive somewhere better. You understand.
Come to Omaha.
You're used to it if you live in Des Moines, I have a feeling, so it's fine. August 17th, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Of course, can't wait to go back there. That was a lot of fun last time. September 13th, San Diego, California, coming back to Cali. September 14th, LA, of course. September 26th, Raleigh, North Carolina, somewhere new. September 27th, Charlotte, North Carolina. So we'll be hanging out down there. September 29th is the Buckhead in Atlanta, Georgia, where we were last time. That's a great theater. So come on back there if you were there last time, and new people, come on out. October 10th, Pittsburgh. Another new place. Can't wait for that. Pittsburgh. October 11th, Philly. That's going to be fun. Different venue, the Fillmore this time.
Oh, great.
We loved, obviously, the club, the comedy club.
The punchline there is amazing.
It's fantastic. It's just not big enough. Right. We didn't want to do like a bunch of shows, so we'd rather just go to
do one.
Yeah, so but we can't wait.
Keep going to the punchline, because those people
That's great. It's a great club. Yeah, top notch. October 13th, Washington, D.C. October 24th, Kansas City, Missouri. Definitely new there. October 25th, St. Louis, Missouri. My goodness. November 7th, Houston. November 9th, Dallas. December 6th, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Oh, boy.
Let's go to Wisconsin in December, Jimmy. That's a smart idea. December 7th, Chicago, Illinois. And we are adding, there's a couple more that the dates are being worked out for after that in Salt Lake City, Denver,
and
Portland, and San Fran.
Great.
I know those are our normal places, so we'll be going there too. We'll add those on at some point. We're going to announce on social media May 13th, which is Monday. Tickets go on a pre-sale May 15th and 16th, and then they go general everybody sale May 17th. That's how that works. So without further ado, let's get into the disclaimer and do a damn show about murder. What do you say? Let's do this. This is a comedy podcast. We're comedians, obviously. We're going around the country. It'd be boring to just watch somebody dryly tell a murder story.
Diatribe.
We do tell jokes. The stories are completely real. There's nothing made up for comedic purpose or anything like that. They don't have to be. That's the thing. They don't have to be embellished, because the world is a crazy place, and we make fun of it. What we don't do is we don't make fun of the victims or the victim's family, because we're assholes, but we're not scumbags.
100%.
That's how this works. Otherwise, there's plenty around that to have fun with a murder, because there's plenty of stupidity and panhandle behavior and everything else.
Murder is like good sex. Unless it's about your mom, it's so much fun to talk about.
Exactly. I was going to say, or like pizza, but then the mom thing threw it off. So let's stick with that. Stick with that analogy. But if that sounds good to you, you are going to have a blast, because we're going to have so much fun. If that does not sound good to you, true crime and comedy should never go together. That's what you think, then you're not going to like the show. So have a good one. But you might want to give us a chance anyway. But if you're anybody else and you want to have a good time, shout it out from the rooftop, from out your car window, stand on your desk and above your cubicle and shout, "Shut up and give me murder." Let's do this. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy.
Okay.
What do you say? We were in Alabama last week. Old Jasper, Alabama, for you fill out your marriage bingo card there for her. Yeah, that's a crazy one. By the way, I found another case we're going to do where a woman has like 11 husbands, which is amazing. I can't wait to get to this. And shocker, some of them end up dead. Surprising. Here, though, we're going to stay close to home here. We live in Phoenix, so let's stay close to home and go over to a terrible place that I would never visit, Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Let's do this.
goddamn spring break capital.
It's an awful place. It's just old people and drunken college kids. There's no in between, and everybody, they all hate each other. And I wish they'd have a big, battle royal to the death, basically, a steel cage death match. Let's say here. So it's in western Arizona, right on the border of California.
Right.
It's in a little panhandle that juts out. There's no way of denying that shit.
It's right over there by Kingman, James.
Oh, it's bad stuff. Yeah, it's no good here. About 3.5 hours away from us in Phoenix here, 5.5 hours to L.A., about 3 hours and 15 minutes to Williamson, Arizona, which is episode 92, our last one.
Which it exists because of you.
Yeah, and I believe, was that the one? No, that was the other one.
That was the one where the guy died on Cave Creek, or almost died on Cave Creek.
That is not the case that John Oliver was just talking about on Last Week Tonight when they brought up one of our cases.
Really?
On Last Week Tonight. Jeffrey Landegren, who was, I believe, the one before that, the Arizona case before that, where we discussed a lot about the lethal injection drug and the fact that, it's illegal, and there was a big controversy of how they got it, and state wouldn't talk about it. Right. John Oliver did like 20 minutes on it on his show and mentioned the case and everything like that, and I was like, nice job a year late. Yeah. Great work. You're a year behind us.
Yeah.
Good job.
I like that.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And I think ours was better anyway, but his was pretty fucking funny. It's good stuff.
He always is.
It's good stuff here. But this is in Mojave County, zip code 86403, area code 928. It's a big area, 46 square miles. It's, all up and down this lake here. Motto of the town, quote, "We swear it's not the middle of the desert. See, there's water." And no one's buying that shit because it's a dump.
It's still,
It's a fucking dump. I'm sorry.
Pauly Shore couldn't save it.
Nobody can save it. It's terrible. I'm sorry.
Niece's abs.
I was going to say Daisy Fuentes. Not even Daisy
sexy
Fuentes
accent.
could save it. Nothing.
Not going to happen.
And her big bushy eyebrows. She couldn't even save it. So,
I thought you were going with tits.
No. Let's go with eyebrows.
That was impressive.
Her tits aren't bushy. I wouldn't say
they're
that.
big.
They're big.
They bush out.
Other parts of her are probably bushy, I'd imagine, just based on her eyebrows. But anyway, history of this town. By the way, nowadays this town is kind of a little bit out of our population range, but when our case took place in the 80s, it's not. It's right in there. It's a small. This place is blown up in population.
Yeah, it's because
like
of
Arizona.
MTV.
Well, no, it's Arizona. It's the same thing. Like Phoenix from 1990 to now is like a 200% population boom, and there it's the same thing.
But there's shit going on here. There's nothing going on there.
No.
I'm confident that MTV changed that place.
Flagstaff is the same thing. That's 200% up since I've been looking at it. Like all this Arizona, basically every place in Arizona that's not like a tiny little weird desert,
like Williamson.
Like Williamson. It has had a population boom since Arizona has, basically. The community of Lake Havasu City started off as an Army Air Corps rest camp.
Did it really?
Yeah, this Army Air Corps is pre-Air Force.
Right.
It's what Archie Bunker from All in the Family was in. I was in the Army Air Corps. And he's always talking about that. So it was a rest camp for the Army Air Corps, but that's all it was. It was called Site 6.
So they just landed there?
Yeah, they just hang out. Yeah, it's between, it's before the ocean. It's between this base and that base.
Okay.
So they would...
Can't stay awake for another hour to get to L.A.
That's it. No, they would... they called it Site 6, and it was, during World War II. This was on the shores of Lake Havasu. In 1963, a guy named Robert McCulloch, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Let's go with McCulloch. That sounds stupider. He's the owner of McCulloch Motors. He was flying over Lake Havasu looking for a place. He was looking for a good place in the ocean, in the lake, to test outboard motors, outboard engines.
Yeah,
I need a big,
boats. Yeah.
I need a big open space where there's no like rock sticking up and you can see it from above. So he was doing that, and while he's doing that, he's looking around. He thought that the land, this was like late 50s. I said 60s, but it's late 50s. He thought the land around there. He goes, you can build a city around there.
Oh boy,
he goes, if there's some water, look at that. He goes, who wouldn't want to live out there? I mean, people live in the desert without water. This is fucking water. We can get people here. So he purchases 3,353 acres of property on the east side of the lake. And this was apparently later, that area was transformed into what they call the island now. I don't know what that is because I would never go to Lake Havasu, but it's there. Now, they planned for a few years, and then he acquires another 13,000 acres of federal land that they're not using anymore because there's not a world war going on. So we don't need this desert. You can have it.
Like squatters' rights or something, or he traded him a beaver pelt?
I think so. Just a beaver pelt and a couple like from Blazing Saddles, a couple of the like ball and paddle games. I think he did, and they were like, "Yeah, fine, great, take
Deal.
it." Yeah, this barren shithole desert plot. Enjoy, all yours, pal. Yeah, 13,000. Tell you you what, we'll give you $13,000 for the price of 10. What do you say? Make you a fucking deal.
He knew downtown Judy Brown would be there. He had a feeling. Kurt Loder and everybody.
That's right, man. They made it a legal entity in 1963. The city wasn't incorporated until 78, but in 1964 they had one not paved road, one unpaved road into the city.
Really?
That's all there was.
In what year?
64.
Wow.
One unpaved road. Yeah, it was just
unbelievable.
It was basically a path. It's an unimproved road, so just whatever. So he needed to get people there, and he's like, how the fuck do I get people here to buy things when there's one shitty road into town?
Yeah.
Where are we going to take them? Oh, no, fine. When we get to the end of this bumpy, shitty dirt road, and this isn't nowadays with cars with good shocks. You're taking somebody in a 1962 something.
Oh, fuck.
It's bumpy.
Yeah.
So no one wants that shit, basically. So he decided to take them by air charter and fly them over. And they're like, see, look at that down there. You want to buy that, right? And people bought a bunch of shit, apparently.
Wow.
It was people from colder climates, mainly, obviously. They were coming from either to retire or to
wait out the wallflower.
Do the whatever. Do the winter. He took 2,700 flights and brought 137,000 potential land buyers there.
Unbelievable.
In between 64 and 78, and sold a shitload of land. In 1978, that was the last parcel of land sold, and then that's when they incorporated.
How about that?
So it's goddamn crazy. They're famous for having the London Bridge there.
Yeah.
Obviously, London Bridge, in case you don't know, was built in the 1830s and spanned the River Thames in London, and then it was dismantled for some goddamn reason and brought to the middle of nowhere in Arizona in 1967.
Store that shit in your desert.
No one knows why. It's a reinforced concrete. Imagine the shipping on that.
I know.
Like, think about that shit. I don't want to order like a jacket because I'm like, that's going to be expensive on shipping. It's heavy. Imagine a fucking bridge to ship that shit. So this McCullough guy purchased it from the city of London.
How much did he get? Oh, it wasn't a gift?
No, fuck
he
no.
Had to buy
he bought that shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh no, he bought that shit. It was he bought it for $2.5 million in 1967 money.
My Christ.
So very fucking expensive, as a matter of fact, too, because he needed something to say, hey, look, the London Bridge.
It's because the London Bridge was falling down.
That's
James.
the problem. Falling down. And he said, you know what? I'll take it. Bridge has one job, to stay up. And he was like, what's that? Not fall? I'll take it. I buy low and I sell high. He
is the king of buying shit nobody wants.
Yeah. Plots in the desert, bridges that are falling down. Nice fucking job, asshole. He's a great businessman.
He's a fucking hoarder.
He's a genius. Dead cats all over Lake Havasu City. Anytime you pick a rock up, there's a dead cat under it that McCullough could store it under there.
Holy shit.
Jesus
He's
fucking
out there
Christ.
popping tags all day.
You know it, man. Jesus Christ. So it took until 71 to complete the bridge, and then they were all excited about it here. They had the stones were shipped to Lake Havasu City. It cost $2.5 million to buy, $7 million to ship.
That's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
3 times the value of the shit to ship it.
To ship it. Yeah, like I said, imagine shipping it not only across the ocean, but then across the entire country also.
Did he buy this on eBay?
I think he did. It was just like he's like, ooh, $2.5 million. I hope that son of a bitch doesn't outbid me.
Shipping $7 million
Fuck.
deal.
He's like, you know what? That's fair.
That's reasonable.
It's a way he had to put in his zip code calculator, and he's like, come on. Come on.
Are you serious?
$7 million. All right. What if I had it shipped? Oh, it's only 6 point. Never mind. Whatever. So,
unbelievable.
He also gifted the city of London, England, an acre of land in Lake Havasu.
That's where the gift came in.
That's the gift. Well,
so I knew there was a gift.
Well, he just said also as like a thing, you can have a thing of land.
Yeah.
London used it for a visitor center.
He gave him 1 acre?
An acre of land as like a gift. Here you go. An acre of barren desert. He could have given him as much as he wanted. All of that. Who cares? No one wants it. It's fucking garbage.
It's supposed to be a 20% tip, you cheap fuck.
See where it's all tan and hot out there where no one wants it? You see where there's no people you can have all of that. We don't care. Watch out, though, because everything out there, if it's breathing, it's poisonous. So watch the fuck out. It'll bite you and kill you. Enjoy. Snakes, bugs, birds, it's all fucking bad. Spiders.
When you want to know where the property ends that I gave you, put your hand over your eyes
there.
And as far as you see, when your vision starts rippling, that's the end of your property.
That's the end of it. And as far as you walk, just keep updating it for that.
Yeah.
So it's weird. So the London Bridge is the second largest tourist attraction in Arizona. Which I did not know. Behind the Grand Canyon, which is one of the
fuck out of here.
Grand Canyon's one of the top tourist attractions in the world.
Right.
It's obviously the biggest one in the state because there's nothing else here.
Right.
That's number two. Well, I guess what the fuck else is there to see?
I don't know, ASU
here?
Girls.
Yeah, I guess.
I'd rather see that than the fucking London Bridge.
You can see that on any porn site.
I guess.
That's all of them. They're right there. That's all they are on those.
Right.
That's for 20 years. It's just been, might as well, it's like it's basically ASU social media is those are fucking gross porn sites of like auditions.
Bang Bros and Brazzers.
Whatever the fuck. Yeah. Shit like that.
I know them all.
But
you don't.
I don't have as much inside info. I'm not as up on it as
those
you are.
Those are my kind of girls.
Yeah. So haven't been single recently enough. So yeah, people are going there for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Hey, look at that. London Bridge. Wonderful. Now we're in the desert. Now what do we do?
Yeah.
It is also the one of the 20 initial nominees for best Arizona attraction. But there's a Grand Canyon.
Right.
So it's never going to win.
And ASU Girls.
And ASU Girls and stuff like that.
It's in the top 20.
In the top 20, yes. So by 1981, they had 17,000 people. Okay. And then and now there's like 52,000 we'll talk about. So there's been a steady influx. It has the 95. It was featured in for MTV Spring Break, right, like you're talking about. People go there for boating. Obviously, home to the International World Jet Ski Finals.
Oh boy!
So
Jesus.
Douchebags abound. Yeah, a lot of white sunglasses on the back of heads and things like that happening in that on that day. A bunch of fishing tournaments, boat regattas, the Western Winter Blast Pyrotechnics Convention.
Wow!
Let's blow some shit up.
A convention of that.
A convention of people blowing shit up.
How is their civic center not burned down?
How's the whole state not burned down with these people? People that are from here and have lived here. Michael Biehn, the actor. Johnny Ringo.
Oh my God!
Johnny
really?
Ringo.
He's from there.
He's from. I already lived there. One of the two. I'm not sure. A few people like that. Nobody too. A former widow of Hugh Hefner.
Oh,
Miss Playboy, December 2009.
Which
is from
one?
Here. Crystal Harris
is
from there. In the 80s and 90s, a director here directed 3 softcore like Cinemax 2 a.m. skin flicks here, which is nice. Savage Beach was one of them.
Okay.
Which sounds familiar from the Cinemax. Guns and Hard Hunted.
With a Z?
Just with an. It's 1990, so pre-Z. But, blonde women with fake boobs that don't move at all from 1990. Even though they're humping like crazy, their boobs are just staying in the same place. A bunch of other stuff here, too. A lot of stuff gets filmed here for some reason. Piranha 3D was filmed there. Yeah, it's so much here, which is obviously a remake of the cinematic masterpiece Piranha from 1978. Obviously wonderful. A lot of stuff here. The Great Food Truck Race was filmed here, season 6.
Okay, I get it. They're not racing the food trucks. It's like a food thing. Obviously, you race from place to place serving. It's got to be.
Takes the shit out of me. I have no idea.
Kind of plot.
I don't know if they see how fast these fucking food trucks are. Let's see how you make that gyro while you were driving 96 miles an hour down the interstate, pal. Left turn, watch out, bitch. That tzatziki's going to be all over the floor. I found a resident review here, and it is not glowing.
No?
There's not a lot of glowing reviews here. One here, quote, I've lived in Havasu for 3 years now, and all I can say is, all caps, stay away unless you're white, older than 60, and don't want to do anything with your life. This is a highly racist town, which is interesting.
That's Arizona,
white people will openly talk down on brown-skinned people. They hear the public education is absolutely horrible. As everyone knows, Red for Ed was a big deal in Arizona. Havasu has large class sizes with less than quality teachers, and I'll get to their education in a second. There's also one charter school, which rates terribly overall, and no real private schools. You can, comes to activities, unless you have a boat or a fishing license, there isn't much. You could explain the high teen pregnancy rate here. If you have teens, beware. You see a lot of single moms coming out of the high school and shopping with their kids. They're coming out of high school with their kids.
Yeah.
That's interesting. We'll go to the same school. If you have a slow pace of life where there's no progress or opportunity, come to Lake Havasu. So 1 star.
Okay.
That's, there you go. Not happy.
It's pretty vicious.
It's pretty vicious.
That's a guy that is pissed with what Eric Neese sold him.
I believe so. Yeah. Pauly Shore.
God damn you,
Damn
Pauly.
you, Jenny McCarthy.
The fucking weasel.
And I vaccinate your kids. So, in 2008, Forbes magazine ranked Lake Havasu City, quote, the least educated city in America.
Wow.
In America. The whole country, using information from statistics on the area, which encompasses the county, comes up last in the number of college graduates living in the city.
That is
in the
impressive.
Entire country.
Impressive.
So if you're a mouth breather and you enjoy the sunglasses on the back of the head and you're that sort of Lake Havasu is for you. Yeah. Take your shirt off, put your flip flops on, get yourself a jet ski, and fucking head to Havasu. Get the lobotomy on the way. No one will notice.
It's hard to find a weirder person than the guy that owns a jet ski. I can see you renting one and having a nice little day.
Unless you're like one of these just crazy rich guys that don't care.
I mean, if you've got a huge boat and then you got like your jet ski up underneath it, there's that.
But that's your prized possession. And your car sits in your driveway, but your jet ski is in your garage on the trailer. Yeah, that's the pinnacle of white trash. Pinnacle of white trash.
The lone jet ski in a 2-car garage. That's a weird dude.
Now, population wise here, we'll do like 1980, 15,000 people here. Our story takes place in the mid 80s when there's about 20,000 people here. Right now, it's 53,463 people, up 120% since 1990.
That's a lot of racists.
So that's a lot. It's a whole lot. Median age 53.1. It's about 15 years older than the average, and it's an old town. More females than males, but it's pretty close there. 32% of this city is over 65 years old. Okay. That's way over it's usually like maybe 18, but 33%. It's crazy. Every demographic for 45 years old and under is way under what it should be. Wow. And everything for older is like off the charts, way more than it should be.
Well, right there explains why the college educated is lowest, because that generation fucking didn't go to college.
Which they fucking should have, because they could afford it.
Right.
Listen to an old person talk about college in the 50s, and they're like, we went, it was like $100 a semester, and you could do like 3 shifts down at the fucking kitchen there, and it would pay for everything. Right. And it was like, what the fuck?
Why didn't all of you go?
Now it's like you could 3 houses for the price of fucking going to college.
Now you gotta work 3 shifts a day.
Yeah, my daughter's 17, so this is a very touchy subject.
She better not like sleep.
Yeah, she's fucking. Damn it! I'm like, you really want to try that hard in school? Really? Come on. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, the married population much higher here, as we're going to get with a lot of older people. They're moving in couples. It's 58%. Higher divorce rate also, though, and a higher widow rate you're going to get with older people. Most of them don't have kids. All with children demographics are lower because they're old people. Race of this town, it's about 82% white, 0.31% black. Yeah. So not very black, as you're going to find in most rural Arizona towns. Yeah. Not a whole lot of black people. 1.07% Asian, which is more than I expected, and 15% Hispanic, which is almost average. Religion in this town, 22.5% religious. The old people are never religious. Yeah. They either forgot or at this point they're like, come on. I've seen everybody I know die, everything else. Get the fuck out of here with that. Quit breaking my fucking balls. What are we doing?
My ex-wife's uncle was religious his whole goddamn life.
Yeah.
And
they get old and they're like,
he just watched his wife die of Alzheimer's, and he's like, fuck God, I'm out.
That's what happens.
I don't even care if he exists. If he could let somebody, the love of my life, die like that, fuck him.
Yeah, exactly.
It's pretty impressive.
0.1% Jewish here, so not a lot going on there. 0.3% Muslim. As far as politics go, to about 22% Democrat, about 73% Republican in the last election. Which is about what you'd think for Lake Havasu.
And Arizona.
In Arizona in general. Well, Arizona's a little closer than that.
In the civilized areas.
Well, I mean, just overall, we're usually within about 5% either way.
But in places like Williamson,
it's fucking it's
going to
be it's one or the other. Now, unemployment rate here is a little bit high, 5.3%, higher than the norm, but not outrageous. Median household income in the country, it's about $57,500. $100. Here it's about $47,000. Okay. So a little bit lower. The jobs here, there's some construction and things like that. It's kind of touchy. Retail trade, that sort of shit, like tourist type thing, like accommodations and food services, 3 times as many as normal. So that's kind of what it is here. It's either you're retired or you're building a retired person's house or you're selling them food.
Yeah, hospitality industry or you're building something.
Yeah. Right. Cost of living, 100, average, regular, par, whatever. Cost of living here is 105 out of 100. So not that bad. Median home cost, housing is 130. So that's a little high, especially for Arizona. That's high. Median home cost here is $270,800 in Lake Havasu City. A lot of the houses are, between $200,000 and $300,000. And if we've convinced you, the only thing for you to do is to move to Lake Havasu City to do nothing for the rest of your life. We have for you the Lake Havasu City, Arizona Real Estate Report. Your average 2-bedroom rental here, it actually seems like the way to go. It's about $817, which is way under the norm for the nation. I found a condo here. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's like a house, but it's attached, so it's, I guess, a condo, even though it's an attached house. 1,200 square feet, $125,000. Okay. Needs some work, but it's cheap and workable, and you could do something with that. I found a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,500 square foot house here. It's nicer. It's kind of updated, whatever. $219,000. Okay. So not too terrible.
Did you say 4-bedroom, 3-bath?
4-bedroom, 3-bath. So that's,
and how many square feet?
That's 1,500.
Good Christ.
It's cramming it in there. There's stuff. Those are small rooms.
5x5 rooms.
Yeah, those are some small rooms and 3 baths too. They're cramming them in there. No closets. No. Those are now bathrooms. Put your shit in the shower. Found a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,800 square foot. Really nice right by the water. Really sick pool. Sweet stuff. $509,900. So you're going to pay for location in Havasu. Things to do here. Good Lord. The first there's the Water Lantern Festival, where they literally just put a bunch of fucking candles on the lake.
I've seen it.
And then I don't know who collects those candles. They all sink to the bottom.
Sit on the shore and wait for them to wash up.
That or they sink eventually, and now there's like 4 feet of just discarded lanterns.
Makes a little reef down there.
Yeah, that's what I think they're trying to do. Eventually, they have a bridge that they don't need, so now they're going to build a reef of some kind. It's for the turtles. I don't know. We don't have turtles. That's because we don't have a reef. What the fuck do you expect? How are we going to have a reef for fucking turtles with no reef?
It's for the trout that we have to stock because this is a natural lake.
Because somebody filled this with a hose. Right. That's why. So it's like they do all the lakes out here. They also have the Chillin' and Swillin' Beer Festival.
Oh boy.
Which, let's just say, self-explanatory. Yeah. The Chillin' and Swillin', it's literally just sit around and drink beer. There's
it's a bunch of lonely dudes with a jet ski.
That's pretty much it. That they open the garage. It's that day. They got it all polished up.
It's the day to not be lonely.
You know it. Crime rate in this town, what we're interested in. The important thing here, property crime is slightly below average. So it's right pretty much on the money, though. Very close. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and of course assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime is about half the national average.
How about this?
So these old people don't have the energy to murder each other, apparently.
They're
so that's
too busy working on their fucking boat.
Yeah, they're too busy working on that jet ski. That damn thing, the throttle's not working.
Nothing ever works right around here.
For Christ's sake, I ran into a rock. It's all scraped up. I got to touch up the paint.
That's the worst. They put a 2-stroke motor in those, and that's the most unreliable motor on earth for anything. And it's like your lawnmower. It's the same fucking. No, that's the weed whacker.
No, that's a weed whacker. Yeah, that's where you want your engine to die too, in the middle of a deep lake when you're just bobbing up and down with a fucking life preserver on. Oh, this is great. I'm going to swim a mile in the shore. Now this is fantastic.
When you have a jet ski and that's all you have, you deserve that life.
In the 112-degree sun, because it's Lake Havasu and you shouldn't be out there.
Just be out there bored as
fuck. Look, there's
and
water.
Not disappointed.
It's still hot. Let's talk about some murder.
Okay.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely, these people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked, God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe. proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Okay, we'll get into this. This one's it's disturbing. Yeah. There's nothing about this case that isn't disturbing. Put it that way. That isn't a little weird, a little off, and definitely fucking disturbing and uncomfortable, we'll say. Let's do our best, because some of the things that went on here. And so, it's weird. It's telling what people say during certain times, and when they're under pressure, like what someone will say under pressure of a certain situation. And this guy never fails to say something crazy at the time of just a statement needed. It's always like, did he say that? It's fucking bonkers.
Is he just a dude that's afraid of public speaking and he just panics? No.
He just comes out with a line where you're like, someone would have wrote that for an asshole, and he just said it.
Great.
Let's talk about this here. Daniel Cook. Let's talk about Daniel Cook here. We got to go all the way back to 1961 when he's born, because we're going to give a kind of short history of his life, because to understand what happened, you have to understand the person, where it came from, and you have to understand how a monster was built here. This is one of those things where we need to watch the construction of the monster. Okay. Frankenstein's on the fucking table, and we can't just see him when he's singing "Putting on the Ritz" with Gene Wilder. Like I know, whatever, but we need.
Why does that guy have bolts in his neck?
Yeah.
All right, we'll take you back.
Exactly. We need to show you the whole process and when top of his head's unscrewed and all that shit. So, he's born in Chicago, July 23rd, 1961, Daniel Cook. Now, he's born 3 months premature, and that's for a reason. His parents are Gordon and Wanda Cook, and they're monsters. Yeah. They're from a lineage of monsters. Yeah. They were treated horribly, and this is just shit rolling downhill onto shit. As you know,
white trash cycle.
It's the white trash cycle, and worse, this isn't even a white trash thing. This is just abuse cycle. Abuse cycle is a cycle, and you have to make a conscious effort to fucking break that shit and have all sorts of counseling. There's a lot that goes into breaking abuse cycles, as you very well know.
It takes one person, though.
It does.
You take one person, and then that person teaches their kids how to be good people, and
that's
then
it's
they
over.
know no different.
Exactly. Right. That's the thing. Unfortunately, none of these people were that one person in this at all. Now, while Wanda was pregnant with Daniel here, she continued to drink, which in 1960, but she drank heavily.
Oh, yeah.
That's different.
Okay.
Ladies would have like a martini, around the martini hour with a couple of smokes, at night or something.
She's drinking all day.
A couple of drinks. She's a fucking alkie. She's just pounding while she was pregnant, and was was never treated by a doctor while pregnant either. Was just like, it'll come out eventually.
Fuck prenatals, I got Budweiser.
Nah, I got, well, back then, I mean, whatever, you still had to get checked out to make sure everything was going okay, heartbeat and all that sort of thing. She was like, I'm sure it's fine. I keep getting fatter.
So it's working.
Must be working.
Yeah. Either he's getting bigger or the booze.
I don't fucking know. Something, or I don't know. They got something growing in there. I'll tell you what. Baby, a tumor, something's in there. I don't know. So, not treated while pregnant. She drank heavily. That was one of the reasons why they feel like he was born prematurely. Another thing is his father, great guy, Gordon Cook here, beat the holy shit out of his mother while she was pregnant, continued to beat her unmercifully over the course of her pregnancy. And, he was born with what they thought might have been a little brain damage in here. This guy's life is just a fucking harrowing.
He's born 3 months premature and he's healthy?
He's healthy.
Wow. Apart from a little bit of knockaround.
It turns out,
and the fetal alcohol.
Nowadays, that's fine because that happens a lot. We have better medical care. But in the 60s, you pulled one out there. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I would say.
Count your blessings.
Yeah, it happens. So as even a baby, his father burned him with cigarettes.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus Christ. I mean, this is as bad as it fucking gets. His mother molested him. Like, that's the type of deep-seated...
Who do you trust after that?
Yeah, and this is for a father to molest their kid, it's really out of the fucking bounds of everything. But for a mother to do it, it's a whole different ball game psychologically.
Trust aspect, because the mother's the one that carried you for 9 months. Well, you naturally have a more bond.
And mothers have a bond for their kids where they're generally, for a mother to do it, she has to be profoundly fucking damaged, like profoundly. That's not a normal. It's just a different thing.
That's extra damage.
It's extra damage. The things that had to happen to her, ungodly. Now, he would say later on, quote, my relationship with my mother was sporadic and distant. One of the reasons she said she hated me so much is she said that I reminded her visually of my father.
Oh, Jesus.
So you can't help that.
No.
Obviously, you can't help if you look like your dad. But
you got no way to take care of yourself, so you got to stay in this house.
That's the thing, and that's what happens here. He protects his mother because it's all he's got. It's either that or where the fuck else is he going to go? And as a kid, you feel like, well, you don't know any better. You're like, well, it's that or nothing.
Right.
This is great, I guess. Not great, but he's later on, when he's asked how many times his mother abused him, he said 7, 8, 9. He wasn't sure. Something in that range. They asked, why didn't you tell anyone? He said, quote, I didn't want to lose my mother, which is an obvious answer that a child would give and that a child would feel.
It's hard for you have to ask that question.
Oh yeah.
But as soon as you blurt that out, you have to know that whatever's coming right back at you is not going to answer that question.
I feel like you asked that question to see if like he was threatened into not saying anything, or so were you coerced into it, or did you just were you afraid? Psychologically, that's very important. Why didn't you say anything is an important psychological question.
And as somebody that has it happen to him, your instinct is, are they asking me if I participated on purpose? Like, it's such a defendable question. It sucks.
And he didn't say like, I was embarrassed, which would be a different type of psychological telling. He said I wanted to protect, I didn't want to lose my mom, which is a totally different thing.
Where else am I going to go?
That's almost like that he was like outside of the abuse by that point.
Right.
Like it wasn't even
He's already removed himself from
where it's
personally.
Like, thank you.
Exactly.
That's what I mean. It's a really weird thing. And I've read this guy, Jesus Christ, I had to join like 3 different websites for this case. This case is now costing us like an extra $60 a month in subscriptions to things just from this case, or like I had to sign up for shit. I found I have like a psychological court-ordered 14-page psych workup on him that's just fucking bonkers. That there's a lot of this is kind of where it comes from. His Jesus Christ, man, this is goddamn bonkers. So he said he didn't want to lose his mother. His mother ends up giving him and his sister to his grandparents.
Okay,
just kind of gives them up. His grandfather would tie him to a chair for punishment. And also sexually abused his sister.
This kid can't get a break.
No, well, where do you think his mom and dad came from? These people. These are the last people you send him with. That's the thing. Jesus Christ, man. It's fucking horrible. The things that happened to this kid, we'll just go over a few things here quickly. His grandmother died, so he and his sister ended up moving back in with his mother, who by then had remarried, and shocking, didn't marry a nice guy.
No?
Surprising, was looking for an abusive asshole like this guy's father and like her own father. So the new husband beat the shit out of him, the other kids, the mother, everybody. Sexual abuse would continue. Now he's got stepbrothers to sexually abuse him and his sister as well, including the stepfather.
This is the worst trilogy ever.
It's bad stuff. Yeah, this is worse than Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
it's fucking
really
terrible. It's terrible. Don't even fucking tell me those movies are good. If you can, I challenge a human being. I don't care if you say you love them. I'll want to watch you sit there for 3.5 or 8 or 10 or 12 or however fucking long one of those movies is and not fall asleep. I fucking challenge you to it. I challenge you.
Tell me it's riveting. I dare you.
When they turn those fucking lights on in the theater, half those people are wiping drool off of their chins when that came out. I loved it. It was wonderful. Oh, it was great. And then they went online and told everyone how great it was, even though they didn't see fucking half of it. Bullshit. So, sorry.
Sean Astin's got a second wind of a career, and it was worth every second of it.
Maybe that's why I don't like it, because I hate Rudy, and it makes me want to. I fucking want to punch him because he's Rudy.
The other fuck is terrible too.
Yeah, but Sean Astin, I'm like, you little fucker. You little bat. Stop trying to play football. Nobody wants you, you son of a bitch. You fucking bastard. Go play for a state school. Right. Why do you got to play for Notre Dame? Maybe if you went and played somewhere, you could have got some actual fucking playing time and not stood around like a jackass all the time.
Terrible plot.
It's a terrible idea.
The whole plot is white privilege.
No, the whole plot is, man, just sacrifice anything that you could do well for the greater good of this giant entity that doesn't give a shit about you except for 5 seconds that made you feel good. Right. Otherwise, who gives a fuck? And then you can wear the Notre Dame jacket for the rest of your goddamn life. No, he should have went somewhere else and played. He could have went to a shitty little school. Could have went to like even somewhere. Just go to Illinois State. You could have played. What are you doing? You know, the hell is wrong with you? So sorry. All right, no, that's enough of that. Of 90s and 2000s movie talk.
Sean Astin brought it about.
You know what? It is his fault. Fuck him. Sorry. It's not my fault.
Lord of the Rings more.
Thank you. See?
I haven't seen a single second of it either, and I refuse. I'm not trying.
No.
I'm not trying.
I tried to watch it, and then I went, Jesus, this is terrible, and I can't watch it. It's so fucking boring.
The premise is fucking stupid.
Yeah, well, like, I get it, because the books are one thing. The books are a separate thing. We're not talking... There's books. This is where this comes from. Yeah. Jesus Christ. There's books.
I'm out.
And
I quit already.
They're long. But the books are a separate thing. We're not talking about the books. You like the books, good for you. That's fine. The movies are something different. I tried to watch the with Riff Tracks, which is Mike Nelson for Mystery Science Theater. Those guys, do audio tracks over movies. And they're fucking hilarious because they're making fun of these movies. I couldn't get through a half hour of it with people making fun of it.
Wow.
That are hilarious.
That's a bad movie.
That's how fucking boring this movie is. It does not matter. It's so bad. So, bad stuff. So anyway, back to Cook here. His mother also suffers from several mental disorders. At one point, when he was a kid, asked him if he would sit next to her in bed while she overdosed on pills and killed herself.
Yes.
Like, will you keep me company while I kill myself?
I'm in.
Which is an odd thing to ask your child, and probably psychologically damaging.
Oh, that'll fuck you up.
A little bit, I would imagine.
Unless he's at this, how old was he? Because at this age, he might be ready to just be done with her.
Yeah, he was like 12.
Okay, yeah, he might not be.
No, he was still
he might need her a little bit.
Yeah, so then afterwards, his mother would always try to attempt suicide. It would happen all the time. So then his stepfather would blame him and his sister and beat the shit out of them for it. How dare you make your mother want to kill herself? It's not his fault because he's being an abusive lunatic. It's the kid's fault, obviously. Now his friend, he's got a friend here that he met in the 4th grade that all through his fucked up, troubled life, somehow this guy remains friends with him in a weird way. The kind of a disconnected way. Like, this guy has a normal life. They don't hang out every day and do weird shit or anything like that. But he's somehow always kind of checked in with Cook every once in a while.
Like a kid with a big heart that just knows that there's a problem, but doesn't recognize the problem.
Doesn't know what to do about it or anything like that. But he's like, man, I'll check up on my friend Daniel here because he's always all fucked up.
Yeah.
And he sticks with him all the way through this whole thing, which is crazy. He says, quote, even though I was young, I could tell Dan was neglected. Like, even the kids knew it. Like, they knew it. If the other kids know, there's a problem. You know what I mean?
I had a friend that was the same way. I knew that shit was going on.
We all had
house.
that. We all knew kids like that. We all knew kids that you could tell, they're abusive or just being neglected, or you could just tell something was off. And
I spent the night at his house one time, and I knew right then that shit wasn't good there.
That's the worst.
I've looked him up on social media since then. He exists nowhere, and I just hope his parents didn't kill him or something.
Dude, he's probably in jail.
Right. Could be.
We've all spent the night at that house where you get there and you're like, oh, I shouldn't have spent the night here. I want to go back home, and it's weird, and they have like an older brother who's terrorizing you, and like the parents are fucking mean, and it's creepy.
A little brother that pooped in the tub.
The kid's super scared of his dad for some reason. You're like, it's weird, man. Yeah, those are not cool, man.
Bizarre houses.
So he could tell he was neglected. Everybody could. Just before he turned 15, his mother, Cook's mother here, hands him over to the state of California. Says, don't need him anymore. Here you go. All yours. So now he's custody of the state.
So now they're in California.
That's where they ended up. He ends up going to the McKinley Home for Boys in San Dimas, California.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Which obviously these are
terrible places.
Terrible place.
In the 60s and 70s?
They wouldn't even watch them. They didn't even think about it. Once he was there, he was absolutely abused worse than he was in his entire life. He said it was around twice a week, depending on how careless I was. So abuse was punishment for different forms of abuse for punishment for different infractions. One of the persons here, a guy named Howard Bennett Jr., who is a house parent at McKinley, ends up serving a 214-year sentence in prison for sexual abuse of the kids that are underneath him.
Every kid there, probably.
Everybody that he's ever been in contact with. Fucking horrible people. He said that Cook said that he would have other boys abuse him physically, sexually, anyway, this guy deemed, basically. It was punishment for not following rules and shit like that. He said
whoever vetted and hired that guy should be in there too.
Yeah, they didn't vet them back then. It was just anybody who wanted to work there. They didn't do background checks back then, or if they did, it was like, give me 3 references. Oh, he's okay, sure. If they didn't have a computer background check in fucking 1975 of any kind of federal registry or sex offense registry or even just anything. I mean, there's no background check.
On the questionnaire, there should be, why do you want to work here? And then when they fill that out, hit them again. Now the real reason. Why the fuck?
Now why? What the fuck do you really want?
Why do you want to work with little boys? What's your deal?
And it's so sad, but it's sad to be suspicious of people, but I have always the Little League theory where I'm like, no one who you should have to force someone to be a Little League coach. Anyone who's excited to show anyone who's excited and shows up a half hour early with orange slices, be fucking leery of that guy. But there's also people who are just good people. And then they look like shit next to these people because you can't tell the difference.
Yeah, because they all look the same.
You don't know until the molesting happens. That's the problem. Up front, they both are there a half hour early smiling with orange slices. Who the fuck knows what their intentions are?
Right.
Some of these people really just want to make sure that kid has a nice even swing and can hit the ball to right field. That's all they're looking for. And then some of them are looking to diddle them.
One of the guys has specific plays drawn up for one little boy because he's good at it. And the other one has it because he wants to spend more time with him because he wants to fuck him.
That's the thing. And a lot of times it's both for these people. They might be, let's just use a coach as an example. Use a coach and they might actually help kids and do all that and be really good at the coaching aspect of it. But then they prey on the 2 weak kids on the team that they know have problems and won't fucking tell on them. So predators are fucking disgusting people, basically. Terrible. And as you know way better than I do about that.
And my grandfather was a scout leader, and that poor guy's got that stigma that he's going to camp with kids, and there's plenty of dudes that did that shit that did terrible things. My grandfather, thank Christ, is a fucking hero.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it depends on, I don't know, and I don't want to fucking get into this too much with you and make you uncomfortable, but I know you've discussed this on the show plenty of times before, but the fucking, I don't even know how to phrase this to not be hard. The dude who diddled you, who was this in relation to you?
Okay, so I don't want to go too far.
Don't go too in, but just a basic general.
It's a family friend.
Okay, that's what I meant. A relation or a family friend or something like that.
Close.
Somebody close that's trusted enough to be around a kid.
It's very rarely somebody a boogeyman that breaks in the middle of the night.
Very rarely.
It's so rare.
That's rare. It's always because there's grooming involved.
Exactly.
You can't groom someone
gotta trust somebody.
Exactly.
Right.
It's either a violent blitzkrieg attack or it's a trust building.
And you generally don't live to tell that story.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the thing there. Okay. So yeah, this is, anytime it's that, it's always worse, I feel like. So, Jesus Christ.
That's why I have a hard time trusting people. And that's why I don't like people.
Don't fucking blame you.
It's very hard to take somebody's word when that person gave me his word too, and it hurt.
Well, fuck, man. That's I think that's understandable for anybody out there. Jesus Christ, man. So at this point, he's in special ed classes also, and it's not for intelligence. It's based on behavioral things. He's got behavioral problems. He also, when he was, before he went here, before he was in the home, before his mother gave him up this last time, when he was there with the stepfather, they said he was treated, that him and his sister backs this up, were treated completely differently than the other kids that the man had. Like it was like a Cinderella situation. Like they were not treated like parts of the family. They were like, oh, you two don't belong with us. Right. You two stay over there. So it was bad. A lot of physical abuse. A lot, like I said, he had the guy molested his sister. Bad stuff here. So basically at this point, he starts doing some drugs as a teenager, because once he's like 16 and he's in and out of this home and shit, this is when he's going to start looking for ways to kind of mask this shit here. So it's drugs, it's alcohol, it's anything he can get his hands on, basically. He said it was anything that would slow my brain down, is the way he put it. He ran away from the home several times, the McKinley home, as you would if you're being abused constantly. This starts in January 1976 and then just goes on and on with all of these attempted runaways and things like that. His discharge from the home also says about him that while he was in the home at age 15, they circumcised him for some reason. No. Why? We don't, not like, they didn't like come in the middle of the night and do it. It was a medical procedure, but for some reason
that late.
I don't know if this was
remember that.
I don't know if this was a religious thing or if this was a, like, we're going to fix you up type of thing, or
maybe he couldn't keep, because you got to take care of that shit. Otherwise, you
get infections and shit.
So there's another way that we differ.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole business of now. Now I'm kind of a conspiracy theorist that it's a fucking racket. The doctor charges you to do it, then they sell it to a skin bank. It's gross.
Yeah. There's a whole thing there, but also I don't know. My dick doesn't look weird, so I'm happy about it.
Mine does, and I don't care about it. But as a kid, you have to fucking do so much to it because you're constantly dirty.
My dick doesn't look like a chewed on cigar, so I'm happy about that.
Mine looks like a soggy joint.
Like not a soggy backwoods.
Yeah. I wish it looked like a cigar.
A backwoods cigar, I'm talking.
Looks like a pinner.
The backwoods look like they're hand rolled and fucking messy. That's what I mean.
There's like shit hanging out of the front. Yeah.
It's all uneven at the front with fucking tobacco and semen hanging out of the front.
It's got whatever's in your boxers stuck to the tip of it.
If we could get any grosser with this episode, I think we have. This is, we need to put a disclaimer for disgustingness at the top of this shit here. Wow. So, either way though, it's, the reports say that this Bennett guy, who is the main awful abuser, was the one who instructed him to have the circumcision. So I don't know if this was for sexual purposes or for cleanliness or for religious or for just some sort of weird control. I'll control your dick to the point of how much skin is on it.
I'll go a step further. That guy shouldn't know that he's circumcised or not.
No, but he's fucking,
but he knows.
He probably shouldn't anyway.
Right. That's my point.
He should have never seen these boys' dicks at all.
There should be no knowledge of what's on the end of that guy's dick.
No. Well, back then it was considered, fucking Sandusky fine to shower with a boy. You know what I mean? For some reason. Like, I don't know what the fuck everyone was thinking back then. So bizarre. They were so afraid of gayness that they were like, no one's gay. I'll shower with a boy right here. No, there's no such thing as gay. I'll prove it by any grown man here can shower with my son right now. Son, take your pants off. What do you think of his uncircumcised cock?
Show him your foreskin, kid.
Give him your opinion. Yeah, okay, we'll circumcise him. It's crazy. So he ends up in he ends up leaving finally, and ends up the home, and ends up in a few different foster homes before finally ending up with some decent people who aren't complete monsters, who take care of him, treat him like a human being and a member of the family, and try to completely turn his life around. This is Lisa and Tom Moss. And
the damage is done.
Damage is done, but at least they can teach you that not everyone in the world is horrible. Yeah. There needs to be something, because plenty of people have this exact upbringing. Yeah. This upbringing is not uncommon.
Not at all.
And not all these people end up on our show.
Right.
We'll just say that. A lot of them.
Some of them listen to it.
Some of them listen to it, which is great. That's so much better than
awesome.
Outward, because some people get help
forward.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes into this shit. But he ends up with these people, and they need to be praised, because people like this are fucking saints. Mm-hmm. For decades, they took in foster children, and they were always good to them, treated them well. Yeah. Dozens of kids were raised by them and are better people because of it. Oh, yeah. And people that do that are fucking saints, because people who are raised like this poor guy and end up, and never end up in an environment like that, they don't have the chance to see that people are human. A lot of times
they end up dead in that house where the abuse is happening.
That's the thing. They end up there, or they end up killing themselves, or it happens. At Christmas time in his first year there, they gave him a camera, and they said he cried uncontrollably for 20 minutes and wept because he never got a present.
Nicest thing ever.
He never got a present like that before. Nobody gave him shit. Right. And, he was allowed to just be a person and have that. So this was right after he was discharged in December of 1977. He's 16 years old. So, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's hard enough to be 16. The reports of the summary also said that he would do a lot of self-harm. He dislocated his thumb and would do it like he would hurt himself on purpose. Like he re-injured it several times to where
that's going far though.
They thought it was on purpose. He broke his thumb at one point on purpose. Would cut himself. Would starve himself. Things like that. He spent time all over in these foster homes, but finally, when he ends up with Tom and Lisa Moss, things get a little bit better. 1978 school records show that he lived with the Mosses at that time when he attended high school. He ends up withdrawing from school in 1979 to move to Arizona, is what it says in the papers. Okay. He was 17 years old there. Now, obviously, when he's with the Mosses, he never sees his family, his real family, never sees them. After that, he ends up in the Army Reserves. Okay. He joins the Army Reserves, which, I mean, he's trying to find some place he belongs with some structure where he could, try to fit in, I guess.
And he's so tempered by abuse.
Oh, you can't hurt this guy.
That is the Army boot camp is a picnic compared to what he's been through.
At least if he messes up, no one's going to fuck him.
No.
You know what I mean?
Beat the living shit out of him.
No, I
thought run him.
Yeah, great, fine. Fantastic. That's nothing to this guy. That's a fucking walk in the park.
Love it.
Love it. No, you're not going to be behind me while I'm doing them. Fucking no. Wonderful.
I'm not going to push up into your thumb.
You're not going to rape my sister, are you? Okay, great. This is fantastic.
Love you, drill sergeant.
And 3 meals a day. Because that was the other thing they said, is he didn't get fed properly as a child. They said, like, if whenever he did get real food, like once in a blue moon, the mother would give him like cottage cheese and fruit that was like healthy, and it would make him throw up because he doesn't eat
can't do it.
fruit. Right. He doesn't eat food. He eats shit food. Right. So yeah, it's fucking sad. So anyway, he eventually attempts suicide while in the reserves, and they end up discharging him for that. And this is when he kind of wanders around. He ends up in Wyoming for a while here. He's arrested a bunch of times for public intoxication between 1979 and 1980 in Wyoming.
Deadwood or something?
No, Wyoming, Cheyenne, not South Dakota.
Right.
Yeah, it was somewhere in there. Who the hell knows? There's nothing in Wyoming now. I don't know what the hell was there in 1979. How could they even bust you wandering? It'd be there's all space.
It's you and a sheriff. That's it.
He found the 0.002% of the state that had people in it and fucking had to wander there. Anywhere else.
And enough for police to be around.
Anywhere else is just you and the bison. Right. Go crazy. Be as drunk as you want. So yeah, he was, when he was in the Army, he was in Fort McClellan, Alabama, and he would be written up for consuming alcohol. Yeah. So he wouldn't really stay in the rules also. In 1980, he attempted to kill himself by overdosing on several different medications. There was
And that was in the
in the army, and they said he was honorably discharged, but in his papers they said that they had no doubt that he would attempt suicide again, and that this isn't a good environment for him.
God, no.
I
don't need that guy.
Yeah, that's no good here.
After in a battlefield and he's shooting and you're like, fuck it, and you shoot yourself?
Or the guy next to you, or either way, not helpful.
No.
Not helpful in what they need him for.
No.
So he's returned to Idaho at this point. He returns to Idaho to live with an old foster mother of his, not the Mosses, a woman named Barbara Williamson. It's at this point that he drank really heavily. In August of 1980, that's when he ends up going back to Wyoming again to look for work. Because, where you go where there's no people, that's where the work is. So he remained in Wyoming with a woman named a guy named Dennis Ward. And then he ended up driving a truck for a while. And then he ended up being fired in November of that year, 1980, for alcohol abuse, because, when you're trucking,
you don't want to do that.
You can't be drunk.
No.
That's kind of important. That's the first thing. You know how to drive a truck? Are you drunk? Those are the two questions they ask you.
In 1980, that's all there was.
That's it.
You're right.
You're on meth. That's fine. Good.
I said, are you drunk?
Are you drunk? We need you on meth. How else are you going to get the load there? Yeah, obviously. Here, do you need to borrow some speed? Because I got a bunch. Otherwise, whatever. But
it's
drunk?
in the glove box.
Fuck no.
Right.
If you are drunk, take some meth. It'll really level you out. You'll be fine. You can hit that trail. Do it up, man. He ends up being fired because of alcohol abuse. So at the end of 1980, so he's got no job. 3 days after he loses his job, he is admitted to a county hospital in Wyoming, Sweetwater County Hospital, for attempting suicide through an overdose of Sleep Ease, which I assume is a sleep over-the-counter sleep medication.
Conoco or something.
Some terrible. It's the opposite of trucker speed. Right. Whatever the opposite of trucker speed is, that's what that is. That's what truckers, I got to get trucker speed and then sleepy so I can go to sleep once I stop. He was also abusing alcohol at the time, too, while taking all the Sleepies. So that's a problem here. And then finally, December 1st, 1980, he gets out of the hospital for this suicide attempt, and then ends up going right back in for his psychiatric hospital now. So he's hospitalized.
At least he's getting help.
Needs the help. Yeah. He's being treated there. It's at this point that he describes having blackouts from alcohol. Not only that, just having blackouts in general in his timeline of events. He described having, quote, little or no self-esteem, views himself as worthless, and he said he used alcohol to soften these feelings, which is why people drink. That's why we drink there, I would imagine. He also admitted to being hospitalized on 8 or 10 occasions for alcohol-related reasons. So he's a binge drinker. He says he drinks too much, becomes ill, and he can't take care of himself, and he becomes, kind of a mess, and this is what happens. So he kind of gets arrested kind of almost on purpose. They also, they talked to his foster mother there, the Barbara Williamson, who said he had hang-ups about his mom still, and he still talked about needing his mother's love and shit like that. He still never wrote his mother off. That's how different that connection is. Also said that he left while Cook lived with Williamson. He left several times to go visit his mother to try to reconcile with his mother, only to return, heartbroken every time because she didn't have anyone, didn't give a shit. Right. He also they said in therapy sessions, though, he would not admit that his mother doesn't want him. He wouldn't admit it. He'd say, no, it's not that. He would always have excuses. He would make excuses for his mother.
This is crazy.
It's fucking crazy. So they said that he would need her love, and he would always try to give it one more try, and it would never work out, obviously. His mother said the doctor ended up speaking to his mother at one point, and in his notes he said, quote, I've never talked to a colder, more heartless person in my many years of social work.
The social worker
said that about his mother.
About Cook's mom.
Never talked to a colder, more heartless person.
And this is a man that deals with cold, heartless people.
In my many years of social work.
Unbelievable.
So, I mean, she's not a good person. Yeah. That's bad shit.
You know what else you haven't mentioned this entire story yet? This is a man in his 20s, and you haven't said one time his girlfriend.
Nope. Wow. He ends up finding women, but he has problems with sexuality. He's not sure of what he is, who he is. He's this is all really
dude is me.
That's what I was saying.
With a lot more
It's all really normal thoughts here and normal psychological things that happen from the fucking upbringing he had. He continues to try suicide attempts over the years. He sees all sorts of mental health professionals for depression, for his alcoholism, different types of psychosis. He has temporary kind of altered states of reality and things like that, alternate senses of reality. He does get his GED on January 8th, 1981, which tells you exactly how easy it is to get a GED. This guy in his we just described what's going on. He could still sit down, hasn't been in school in years, and fucking get a GED. That's how easy it is.
The other part of what the Army will take, they'll take fucking everybody.
That's the other thing, because he didn't have a GED. Yeah, because I have a GED, and it was the easiest fucking thing in the world. So anyone who doesn't have a diploma or a GED, you're just either lazy or the dumbest fuck alive. One of the two, because it's easy. Super easy. So on January 20th, 1981, he ends up being released from the Wyoming State Hospital after they find that he's not a danger to himself or others. He's good now. He's fine. Everything's fine. They said that he was reported to have participated in much of the treatment. He's reported as cooperative. He's diagnosed with alcohol addiction and a passive-aggressive personality with antisocial features.
There you go.
The summary also said that he was returning to Idaho to live with Barbara Williamson. So he returned there, goes to Idaho, lives with that Barbara Williamson. He does odd jobs and works for the forestry department for a while. He's just trying to find his way, I think, at this point. He's in his, he's like 22. He's in and out. He's got, been discharged from the Army. He's in and out of the hospital. Not a lot of
suicide attempts.
That's what I mean. He's not going to go get a job for a Fortune 500 company and start working his way up the ladder at this point. He's just trying to stay, get a paycheck here. He was also drinking though at the time, and he would continue to see a psychologist and a social worker though.
Okay.
So he's making an effort. He's self-medicating, but he's still, making an effort. So at the end of 1981, December 11th, he ends up checking himself back into an Idaho State Hospital now. He was consuming too much alcohol, and he tried to kill himself with a shotgun, but he couldn't reach the trigger.
So he's a little guy.
Or that or a huge shotgun.
Right.
His girlfriend had broken up with him 3 or 4 days prior to this, and he went into a tailspin and tried to kill himself, and that whole thing. And so he ends up going into the hospital, though, otherwise, so that's smart anyway.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure, yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com. Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information. Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. Yeah. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
He ends up being, he's, okay, I'll tell you exactly how tall he is. He's 70 inches tall.
Okay.
Which is, think about it.
5 foot
10. 6 foot is 72. So yeah, 5 foot 10.
Yeah. Well, I was going 60 inches is 5 feet.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. So we went the opposite way.
5'10".
So yeah, he's 5'10". When he checked himself into the hospital, he weighed 127 pounds.
That's a little guy.
That's
so skinny.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's insane. The 127 pounds at 5'10" is
I was 5'3",
bonkers.
120 when I graduated high school, and that was emaciated.
5'10".
Yeah.
You're, I mean, Jesus Christ, I can't even describe who you are.
That's so skinny.
Yeah, you need to be rescued by, Allied troops at that point. That's fucking horrible.
You could be adopted if you just had flies in a distended belly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, people are gonna plead for you. He was living with her, and referred to her as the Williamson lady as his foster mother, although she wasn't legally a foster mother. She was just a lady who was taking care of him.
He's a goddamn adult.
That's the other thing here. So he ends up about 3 months go by, and he leaves the hospital against professional advice. The reason he leaves to the hospital against professional advice, what would make you, there's certain things that can draw people away from a situation like this. Sometimes it's just a snap. Sometimes a lot of different things. He leaves to get married.
Who? There's a lot of questions there. What is she doing to allow that?
I'll give you one guess who she is.
Yeah, she works there.
You bet your ass she does. Yep, she is a staff member at the hospital.
Damn it, girl.
So she's a monster too now, because this guy needs fucking help, and instead she's taking him out of the hospital, and she knows he needs help. She works there, for Christ's sake. And so not great. So he ends up, it's a woman named Laura. He ends up leaving to get married to Laura, and
Shit.
Not good here.
She's an enabling asshole. She needs to look back at conflict of interest.
Fuck, man.
And I don't understand.
Well, I guarantee you,
harm.
Yeah, that's definitely against the rules, I'm sure.
I would fucking well
for him
say
to leave and marry her, I assume she was fired for that. So a week later, though, after he leaves to marry her, he's readmitted to the state hospital for an attempted suicide.
Yeah.
So a week goes by. He became depressed after he was unable to find employment because because he's like, they got married. Now he had this, like, he had a manic swing where he was up and he's like, we're going to get married. I'm going to get a job. We're going to be great.
This life.
Fix it. We're going to have a nice little thing and pretend like none of this ever happened. Because if we make a nice little house for ourselves and we're this, then none of that happened. Our little house protects my mind from everything. And that's not how it works. But that's how people think. That's how your brain works.
And he's in life weeds that are taller than he is.
Oh,
and
he's
trying to attack them all in a day and a half.
He's like, let's just knock it down.
In a week later, he's I didn't fix it. Well, fuck no, you didn't fix it. Your life weeds are 2 months worth of work.
No, his two-stroke is not going to cut that down. So he's kind of
that unreliable shit. The reeds are bad. The fucking mixture's off.
He's fucked. So it's a fucking mess. And and in a week, he couldn't fix it all in a week. And he was like, that's it. It's over. Didn't do it in a week. He tried to overdose on Laura's medication, which was he took 30 Myceline D tablets. I don't know what that is.
That's like muscaline, like muscle relaxer.
I have no idea. Mysoline, MYSOLINE tablets. I don't know what that is. They see him. He goes to the hospital for that. They said he feels. The report there says he feels depressed and suicidal even when he's sober. They said that he can function at a high level for a period of time, but as soon as any stressful situation occurred, he'd become angry, depressed, and he would try to kill himself.
Right.
That's how this works.
How cyclical depression works.
He's mentally ill. Yeah.
You think you can fix it, and then the challenges approach, and then you can't.
And when you add alcohol to that also, you're just magnifying everything by 10.
Good.
You're making it a fucking mess. So it's a goddamn mess.
It's shocking that as much professional help as he has had, he doesn't recognize this when it happens.
Yeah, well,
he's mental health.
That's the problem. That's how you know it's an issue here. So he also he said that he had periods when he was very impulsive and would act without thinking. They found in him. March 22nd, 1982, he jumps over the door watch table, like the table there that they watch the door of the place, like you see.
Oh, yeah.
You check people in and out. He jumps over it and left the hospital running toward town. So at that point, Laura had withdrew $4,000 from her bank account and purchased Greyhound bus tickets. So
that's an expensive. You could have flown for that money.
Well, they're going to go down and they're going to have cash in their pockets. Okay. And he's discharged the next day.
They buy the bus?
Well, they could have bought the whole town they moved to. They moved to Kingman, Arizona, which is a shitty. You can buy. Well, then you could have bought all the meth in Kingman. Yeah. Now it's way too much. But then all the meth in Kingman for $4,000. So they moved to Kingman together. And shockingly, it's surprising. You figure. There's some people you look at and you're like, well, if they can't make it, what hope do I have? Right. And I feel like this is that kind of couple. If a mentally disturbed, alcoholic, horribly disturbed person and the abusive fucking care worker who fucking ran away with them and had him check out of a hospital, if they can't make it on the run, who can? What chance do we have as people, Jimmy? Never mind.
I do see.
Abandon your partners. It's not going to work.
I do see his angle of a mental health professional is what he's marrying, so he feels safe and like she can help. But
and I'm sure she was in some sort of position of trust, and she treated him well, so he felt like he could trust her. And
this is horrible.
So they eventually break up. Yeah, obviously. So
eventually she's going to go, "You're fucking nuts."
Yeah, and so am I, and I need to go find. They're both nuts.
We both need somebody normal. I'm going to go find mine. You find yours.
Enjoy. So he spends time in and out of hospitals while he's here also. He doesn't stop his behavior. I mean, but he always seeks help. That's the thing. He'll always seek treatment. He always seeks help. Like, he knows that much. He knows the reaction of, I do this and then I got to seek help, and that'll make me feel a little bit better. So at least he's got that. Some people don't even have that. So he's got that, but that doesn't help with his behavior. So, he ends up there at the hospital. He's admitted to Mojave General Hospital for suicidal behavior at one thing.
Fucking county.
Yeah, it's bad stuff out there too. Yeesh. He's diagnosed again with the same passive-aggressive personality with depressive and behavioral episodes. September of 1983, the next year, he's admitted to the hospital based on a suicidal gesture and he's given a diagnosis of schizophrenia and alcohol abuse.
There you go.
And he's so fucked up they can't even nail down a diagnosis ever, because it's almost shifting. What he's from time to time.
But the first one was just so loose of a definition.
He's a little guy. He's kind of a dick.
He's antisocial.
He's got some problems.
Right.
That's basically what they said. I don't know. He's kind of a pain in the ass. Talk to him. You'll see. That was like, no. Let's get specific on this and see what the fuck happened.
Antisocial is just people that don't like to be around people. That's all that is.
That's not actually. No.
But I mean, that's
antisocial medically is aggressive. It's not a.
But
it's an aggression out.
It's not just. It sounds more just. It's not a good description of what that is.
I'm not social, but I'm not antisocial. You know what I mean?
Antisocial.
No. Antisocial is aggressive.
You are completely against being social.
I am.
You are antisocial.
Well, antisocial, but I'm not antisocial. That's the difference. See?
But that's what it
take it out on
like
society.
To me. It doesn't sound like somebody
that's just English words. Medical whatever bullshit.
They need to give it a better word.
I would say so. I fucking agree.
Doesn't sound right.
It doesn't. Yeah, I totally fucking agree, because people say that all the time. I'm really antisocial. It's like, you're actually not. You know what you're talking about.
When's the last time you cut the head off a hooker?
Yeah, I haven't seen that lately. I'm checking your watch. No? Okay. You just don't want to go to that fucking work party? You don't want to go to happy hour and fun? No, that's not the same as being antisocial.
Team building exercise.
Did you shoot everyone in their cubicles? No? Well, that's antisocial behavior, not just not feeling like going. So he's admitted the next year to the hospital for inflicting wounds on his left forearm with a razor blade as well. So it's kind of not a true attempt at a suicide. They don't think. It's just it's a cry for help. Okay. It's I can't remember the exact medical term. There's a medical term for it when you're
superficial, just wounds, like
not the wound type. It's a certain
it's a medical description of it,
of what the psychologically that is. Like, it's not a suicide attempt. It's I can't remember what it's technically called, that kind of cry for help. But he is then a few weeks later he's hospitalized and given a diagnosis of acute psychosis and alcohol ingestion, because he's a drunk as shit. 3 days later he ends up being readmitted for alcohol overdose. They rule out a head injury and anything like that at that point. They said he doesn't have a head injury. At some point in 1986, he becomes romantically involved in a relationship with a woman named Barbara, who he met in Kingman. So bad right away. Meets a woman in Kingman, run. Barbara had 2 children. Becky and Sean. He really fell in love with Barbara right away. It was all like he did with anybody who would kind of give him the time of day. He had problems, but she kind of was okay with it, which is weird because she has 2 kids. She'd kind of go along with it. But in March of 1987, she breaks up with him, and that precipitates quite the fucking downslide of his personality here. He has a calendar that counts each day that she's gone without her, like this many days without Barbara.
No.
This many days without Barbara. Yeah, he's kind of obsessed.
Like a prisoner trying to get out of prison?
Yeah, like slash marks on the wall.
Jesus.
He writes her letters. He expresses the love for her in these letters, and he says that he's doing everything he can. He got a job at Bob's Big Boy. If you're not from the West Coast, Bob's Big Boy is a burger fucking restaurant with the giant fat kid on the thing with the burger. It's a California thing.
Later.
Yeah. I think it's owned by the Rallies and Checkers, and they all own that shit.
That makes sense.
I think they're all
a Rallies kid with checkered shit on.
Yeah, I think they're all the same company now, but back then I don't think they were. But he said that he got a job at Bob's Big Boy, and that he's trying his best, and he's advancing in his job. He says he's making advancements in his job, and he's trying to convince her he's a worthy guy to have around. Look, I can do things. I can make burgers well.
I'm a functional member.
That's it. The letter says that both the letters say all he wants is to be with her and her children as a family. That's all he wants, is to be a family and have a family. This goes on for a couple months. The one dated July 2nd talks about, I'm doing great at Bob's Big Boy and everything's wonderful. This is July 2nd, 1987. Now, July 17th, 1987, it's a Friday. Cook quits his job.
Had enough.
Quits his job at Bob's Big Boy after his boss makes remarks about Barbara because he's obsessed and he keeps talking about her. I'm just trying to get Barbara back and all this.
Fuck up about Barbara.
Just drop him in the fryer. Jesus, we don't care. He wants
2 slices of tomato.
That's
Shut
it.
The fuck
Shut up. 2 slices of tomato. Hold the Barbara. Fuck off. So, he apparently his boss told him to leave his problems at home, and he got pissed off and quit. So look, I'm tired of hearing it. Yeah. It's fucking none of us. We work in fast food. You think any of us are happy? We are all miserable. We all have missed opportunities. Yeah. We all have loves that are unrequited because who the fuck wants to be with us? We're covered in fucking mayonnaise and hamburger grease the whole time. Shut up and be like everybody else.
I remember that place being like a 50s kind of.
Yeah.
I wonder if there was a Barbara Ann burger.
I'm sure. Every time that came, Barbara Ann. He's like, I hate the Beach Boys. I'll fucking stab them all.
He's just crying every time somebody orders
sobbing.
Did they order a Barbara Ann?
Fuck.
God damn it.
Goddamn Beach Boys. Fuck Brian Wilson.
Leave your problems at home.
Yeah. So he ends up quitting though, and his calendar notes at that point, he writes on his calendar, Barb and kids gone March 3rd, 1987. He writes that under Saturday, July 18th. So he's just writing the date they left on the calendar at that point. They break off the relationship. Apparently they were planning on moving in together. That was the thing. And then she broke it off. And he's on his own. So he finds a place to live. Old Cook here, Dan Cook. He finds there's a guy named John Matzke, who Matzke for reference. That's interesting. John Matzke is a fellow big boy employee.
Hell yeah!
And so while he's working at Bob's Big Boy, he gets a apartment with this guy. It's like fuck it, whatever, a roommate. So they get a 2-bedroom place that they call that's gonna be their party place. They say because
Yeah.
Swinging when you get home from the Big Boy.
Yeah.
Once I wash the stink of fucking fried grease off of me, I am going to get down like a motherfucker tonight.
Wait.
Oh, wait. No, I make $3 an hour. Never mind. How do I afford this apartment? Holy shit.
Not a lot left for partying.
Not a lot left over here. So, and also living with them is a guy named Carlos Cruz Ramos.
You said 2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms.
Oh, boy.
He sleeps on the floor, yeah. Carlos Cruz Ramos. He is he also worked at the Big Boy, and he is here illegally from Nicaragua.
Oh, okay.
So he's just trying to lay low.
Right. Real low.
Real low.
Floor
like
level.
on the floor, yeah. Right down on the ground level.
In case they look through the windows, I'm not here.
Yeah, no shit. So, he quits his job, like we said, and this is right before his birthday, too. He was born in July here. So he said that he couldn't take the criticism of the boss telling him not to bring his problems to work, which is just a pretty basic one. It's not, he wasn't really just, ragging on him. He said, can you stop? Just don't bring your problems to work. Make your fucking burgers and go home. Who cares? So he stopped taking his anti-anxiety medication, because he said the side effects weren't okay.
Yeah.
Whatever the side effects were, the main effects were to have him be able to lead a life where he doesn't end up in a hospital every other week. So
remember that
helpful.
Remember that part where you wanted to be a functioning member? I'm sure that stuff contributed to that.
A little bit. So July 19th, Sunday comes around. This is in Lake Havasu City. They're living in this apartment in Lake Havasu City. The Cruz Ramos had just moved in there. He just needed a place to stay, so he sleeps on the floor, like we said. Now, this day, July 19th, 1987. Now, it's hot. It's Lake Havasu. It's hot as fuck. It gets fucking hot there. It gets hotter there than here.
Yeah.
It's way hot there.
Death Valley is by there.
Yeah, it's smoking hot. Yeah. So we're talking a hot day. July in Arizona, there is no reprieve. It's just hot.
Yeah.
No. So this day, over the course of the day, he and his roommate, Cook and Matzke, have drank at least 2 cases of beer each, or 2 cases of beer total. They drank at least a case each.
48 beers.
So there are at least 24 beers deep each into this whole thing. Also, Cook has taken 40 milligrams of Valium, which with that much alcohol...
That's a lot.
I don't know how you're standing. That's a lot. Oh, that's how he's standing. He's also been taking meth the entire weekend.
Why would
That's how you stand still after you've taken booze and Valium. You're on a shitload of meth, which shows you how fucking crazy meth is.
Yeah.
Even that much Valium and booze can't take you down if you're on that much meth. Think about that shit. That's amazing.
That's a shitload of Valium.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Those are like 8 to 10 a piece, I think.
That's almost an ad for meth.
Yeah.
Like, you could be like fucking crammed full of Valium and a case of beer. You snort this, fuck, you'll be at work. You'll be driving a truck in 2 hours. Don't worry about it, buddy.
Wow.
Holy shit. So, they're doing all of this. Obviously, the Valium and the meth and the alcohol are all going to do a horrible little hell dance together in your brain, and God knows what's going to come out of it. It's going to be fucking ugly. That's the worst hokey pokey I've ever seen in my life.
That's a forbidden dance indeed.
Wow. Talk about turning yourself around. So, this day here, they're both, Matsky and Cook are both using crystal meth, obviously. So they're both using meth the whole weekend, all that sort of thing. Sunday, Matsky says he hadn't used meth that day yet, but he's unsure if Cook had used meth because he'd been in his bedroom with the door shut. Okay. So who knows what he was doing in there? Could have been doing anything. Obviously, when I see a door shut, I assume there's meth use on the other side of it. Yeah. Oh, obviously. It's weird when I go to a hotel.
I know one thing he was doing was crying about Barbara. I don't know what else he was doing.
Yeah, imagine this guy, his roommate. Boy. Just a constant Barbara. Jesus Christ. Fuck. That's why he had to drink and do so much meth just to be able to hear about Barbara for all that fucking time.
That guy hates the name Barbara.
He goddamn hates it. The guy's not sure, though, on Sunday if Cook was doing that. But this Matsky does know that Cook has not slept in 5 days. 5 days. So I'm going to assume he's been doing meth this day. Because if you take that much booze and Valium after being up for 4 days, you will go to sleep.
Yeah.
Fucking period. Yeah. So unless you take a bunch more meth, then you're awake.
On that 5th day.
Oh, baby. Yeah. This is all meth behavior, obviously. Very common in this area of Arizona. Very common behavior.
Northwest Arizona.
This is not uncommon behavior. A lot of alcohol and everything like that. Jesus Christ, that's so much beer, too. A case of beer.
You'd have to feel so gross. A beer buzz,
heat.
Oh God, Jesus!
In the 120-degree heat,
a beer buzz alone is not a fantastic buzz. It's whatever. You can get drunk, but the amount of fucking bloat and shit you feel because you have that much beer inside you.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's horrible.
Imagine the shits this guy was taking.
Dear Lord,
Jesus, eating Bob's Big Boy and drinking a case of beer.
If you're gonna drink a case of beer, just drink a 5th of fucking whiskey.
Yeah, make it easier on yourself.
So much.
So. This Sunday, Matsky's at work at Big Boy. Mm-hmm. He comes home that afternoon to start hitting up the beer so they could do a bunch of beer. And he hasn't, that's what I mean, he hadn't done meth yet that day. He's been at work. So Cook at this point, when Matsky gets home from work, Cook is on a 5-day meth binge, all hopped up on booze and Valium and everything. He tells this Matsky, he says, look, Ramos, I know he's got a lot of money. He's got money in here, and we should take it.
Hold on. Floor guy has money?
Floor guy has money. Well, he's not paying the rent. I don't know if he has some sort of Nicaraguan currency or something.
He's socking it away?
He's socking it away. Now, what we're thinking of as a lot of money and what he's saying is a lot of money are really different.
Vastly apart.
Yeah, we're talking $90. That's a lot of money.
Oh boy.
Not he's got, $4,000 stashed in a fucking like Laura in an envelope under his fucking sleeping bag. He's got $90. Like that's all he's got.
Nicaraguan can't even afford a fucking Greyhound bus ticket at this point.
No, not at all. Yeah, he's stuck there. So he says that he wants to take it. So about 6 p.m., Cook tells Matsky, look, take Ramos upstairs. Be like, hey, tell him, because Matsky has a balcony in his bedroom in his apartment. He says, tell him the view is really awesome from up there and be like, yo, come out, check the view out. It's really cool. Come up and have a beer and check the view out. So he says, get him out of his room or get him off of his floor. So
get him off the carpet.
Get him off the carpet. So Ramos, shrugs and goes upstairs. Sure. I mean, someone says they're going to show you the view. You go look at the fucking view. So they go up, they look at the view. Ramos is like, the fuck are you showing me this for? Yeah. It's ugly.
Right.
This is not a good view.
It looks worse up here.
It's
honest.
Worse. Yeah. That's just a strip mall down there.
Down there, I only see a little bit. Up here, I see all of it.
See all the stink. So they go downstairs, Matsky and Ramos back downstairs, talking about that view.
Yeah.
Man, wasn't that spectacular? the sunset. My God.
Can you believe it still looks like shit up there?
It's orange and purple. It was majestic. So when he gets downstairs, Ramos discovers that his money pouch is missing. He had the money in a little pouch there. And he says, his money pouch is missing. Where the fuck's my money? So Cook says, I don't know. Check around the house. Why don't you check around here? Look upstairs. Maybe it's upstairs. Who knows?
Did you leave it up on the balcony?
Did you just take it up there and drop it and then forget 10 seconds later?
Right.
So the guy goes, all right. And he didn't see it anywhere else. So he said, maybe it's upstairs. Yeah. So Ramos goes upstairs. As he goes upstairs, once he heads upstairs, Cook grabs a hold of him. Yeah. Okay. Matsky rips up some bed sheets at this point. They start tearing up bed sheets.
What?
Which if someone grabs you and you hear sheets tearing, you fight as hard as you can because bad things are happening.
Run in place until you are let go.
That's just keep going, kick, punch, bite, do whatever you have to do because bad shit's about to happen to you. So ripped up some bed sheets and they tie this Ramos to a chair in Cook's bedroom. Yeah. They tie him to a chair, Reservoir Dog style at this point here.
Ramos knows the money is with them now.
I think now he figured out that the pouch isn't up here. Right. Or it is, but he's not getting it back.
Right.
One of the two. So while this is all going on now, Cook punches Ramos and starts taunting him in general, just being a dick and, talking shit to him and being a fucking asshole. Yeah. So this is before he ends up taking Ramos and putting him in the closet. Okay. They put him in the closet in the chair.
Yeah.
So they said they did it so they could look through his other possessions. Why couldn't they do that? He's tied to a chair.
Yeah.
We didn't want to do it in front of him. We turned him around.
We're
super weird.
People.
Hey, come on. What are we, schmucks here? So they do that. They rifle through his other shit and take whatever they want. Now, while this is going on, Ramos escapes from the closet.
Oh.
Because he's got two fucking crackheads tying him to a goddamn chair. They're not good at this. They work at Bob's Big Boy. They're not fucking kidnappers. You know what I mean? They're not mafiosi here.
Right.
They're fucking burger slingers. So this guy escapes and fucking takes off.
Good.
He starts running, busts out of the closet, runs down the stairs, tries to get out. Cook tackles him, chases him down, tackles him, and drags him back upstairs. How is he doing this with his meth frame?
It's meth.
Meth strength.
Yeah.
So he reties him to the chair. Imagine the struggle it would take to be retied to the chair after that. You would, man.
I mean,
you'd have to shoot me.
You got to do it one limb at a time, and you'd
have to shoot me. You'd have to. There's not enough people to hold all my limbs.
There's only two dudes.
Oh, I'm long and shit. You'd never get a hold of me.
I'm little, and I'll get out of it.
Oh yeah,
I will be punching with whatever arm you're not holding.
Kicking and punching. Yeah, you
can only hold one at a time,
that's
fucker.
It, man. And
you need two to tie a knot.
One's tied, and then there's two of you. There's still a free limb.
Absolutely.
I'm kicking, I'm punching, I'm doing what I headbutting. I'm doing what I have to here. So this is wow. This is fucking crazy shit. So this is the kind of weird shit here. He is all hopped up on meth, obviously. He's kind of, he's got like almost a delusional state is what is said, by, Matsky at this point. He's kind of going into a delusional state. He's yelling at Ramos, and now he's like accusing him of things. For no reason. Like, at one point he is, Matsky says that Cook's he's telling Ramos to take them to his leader. And he's yelling at him, accusing him of being a Nicaraguan spy.
Yeah.
And he's referring to Oliver North, which if you don't know who Oliver North was an army colonel who was doing a guns for hostages thing, or I'm sorry, he was arming the rebels. The whole Iran-Contra thing. Yeah. There was guns for money to fund rebels but it was all wasn't above board.
Okay.
It was all on the down low.
Oh boy.
And Reagan knew about it and pretended he didn't. He was like, I don't know where I am even. What are you talking about? And North ended up being the guy that took the hit for it, because he's the highest ranking guy. A colonel is the one who could trade with 2 foreign countries and shit. So it's a big giant 80s mess, but basically it's a big like government military conspiracy bullshit.
They tried to create a coup under
Yeah, there's the whole Nicaraguan thing. So because this guy is Nicaraguan, he is accusing him of he's referring to Oliver North and the CIA he's accusing Ramos of like being involved in this fucking spy ring and asking him who the leader is and what's your CIA contact for this and that. He works at Bob's Big Boy.
Your government doesn't even know I'm in this country.
I sleep on the floor.
I'm here illegally.
I'd have a bed if I had that much backstory.
I barely speak the language.
Not much. Yeah, he would have at least a cot, I feel like, if he was a CIA-sponsored spy here. Yeah. Instead, this guy keeps doing that. Now, this Matsky guy, while this is going on, he's like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, we've strayed from reality here. We were just going to rob this dude. Like, now you're saying he's a spy and Oliver North is involved. This is getting fucking weird.
He's like, why are you talking about that little homeless kid? What are we doing here?
What are we doing here? He's a spy. He's taken, okay. Right. So there's a lot of non-reality based shit. So anyway, Cook and Matsky at some point, I don't know if they get bored or what, but they start beating Ramos with a metal pipe and a stick. Just taking shots here and there and then interrogating him more about his, obvious CIA connections to the Nicaraguans and the Sandinistas and all this different shit.
Your town review was spot on. They treat brown people like shit.
I would say so, yeah. This is actually the welcoming committee. That's the thing. This is what they do if you have a vowel at the end of your last name and you want to move to the town.
Or an X or a Z.
They're an X or a Z. So a metal pipe and a stick, and they also burn his chest, stomach, and genitals with cigarettes.
Oh, Jesus, no!
He's done nothing. This poor man. He's done nothing. All he's done is sleep on their floor. He's done, and he had $90. Like he had nothing. He's done nothing to them to cause this whatsoever.
Burn his fuck,
and his
man.
chest and his stomach. It's all bad at this point. So at one point here, Cook cuts Ramos's chest with a knife. He slices him like a, one of those. So Matsky bandages him up while he's sitting there. He fucking stops the bleeding and bandages him and puts a fucking pad on him and tapes it down and fixes him up like, Jesus Christ, we can't have...
This is a bit much, sir.
It was I thought it was weird when you were burning his dick with a cigarette, but we can't have him bleeding all over the carpet now, too. I have a fucking security deposit here. What are you doing? $90 ain't going to cover it, you know what I mean? You want to make a profit on this guy or what? We'll lose our fucking security deposit. Okay, that's terrible.
We're getting $90 out of him.
Come on.
I'm still upside down 210.
What are we doing here, guy? That's fucking terrible.
That is the worst thing we've ever said.
I think it might be. But that's the sad part.
You want to make a profit on this guy?
Let's hope that's what they were thinking.
Right.
That's the thing.
Or at minimum,
I hope that's what they were thinking.
Or at minimum, this is not what I got into this for.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So Matsky puts a bandage on it, stops the bleeding. Around about 9:45 p.m. So this has been going on for over 3 hours.
Oh, Jesus.
Of this guy being tied to a chair. Matsky goes, I got to go on a beer run.
Yeah.
We're out of beer.
I am thirsty.
I am just parched after all this. So he goes to the Acoma Stop and Shop to buy beer. Now, he returns to the apartment. First of all, to go on a beer run in the middle of torturing an immigrant for no reason is a very strange thing to do. Right. Just an odd move. I don't know. Usually you don't go on beer runs in the middle of that. So he's gone for like 15, 20 minutes. He comes back in. What do you think? What's the scene he walks into now?
Jesus.
So now Cook's been alone with him.
Oh, my. Is it like Scarface?
He's probably got maps up on the wall going, where are you? Are you bringing the troops up through here? It's actually way worse than that. And it's worse than Scarface. He walks in as Cook is sodomizing Ramos.
No.
He is having sex with Ramos. That's against his will, obviously.
How do you get to there?
In
20 minutes.
He said, beer run? I'm fucking this guy. So...
that's too far.
This is like walking in Pulp Fiction in the middle of the GIMP situation. And you're like, what the fuck is happening, man? That's what was going on here. It's fucking crazy. So
that is a great point, too. Why didn't, obviously because it wasn't in the script, but why didn't Bruce Willis freak out a little harder when he saw what was going on there?
A lot. He should have really freaked out.
What is this shit?
Unless you just saw that 5 minutes ago. That's a jarring, oh, my God.
Quentin should have written that shit in.
Imagine this guy comes in with 2 12-packs.
Yeah.
2 12-packs, opens the door, and sees this.
Oh, no.
Wow.
I forgot my ninja sword.
I'm going to go back again, and whoa, Jesus. So that's not it, though. He not only sodomized him, he had used a mini stapler. Yeah. Oh,
to do what?
This is as bad as you think it is. To staple, Jesus Christ, to staple this man's foreskin to the chair.
Oh, Jesus.
To hold him in place, so it's easier.
Don't you move, boss stitch to the chair. What the
click
shit?
To the chair, sodomizing him. So Matsky walks in and, like anyone would say, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
As anybody, even if you're not normal, anybody would say, this is a kind of outside the realm of fucking.
Oh, boy.
$90. We were going to rob this guy. Remember? What is happening? What the fuck, man?
Now you got foreskin stapled to my grandmother's chair.
Yeah, so he sees this. Yeah. I'm sure it was already furnished, this place. With old motel furniture. Yeah. Absolutely.
But thinking about it, that's a great way to keep me in one place.
That's the one thing.
Yeah.
He's thinking. I'll give him that. He's
pretty good.
He thought he went from A to B to C.
Yeah.
I need him in one place. I'd like him not to move.
That. Right.
There we go. That's going to work right there. So he says, what the fuck's going on? Cook's response to him turns to him in mid fucking
in mid thrust,
mid coitus, and says, "Quote: I'm having fun."
No, you're not.
I'm having fun.
What the fuck?
How the what? Okay. Again, there's a lot to unpack constantly here, but the rest of it aside, let's say you're Matsky and you're okay with everything else. Yeah. You're even okay with the fucking sodomy and the ball staple and the foreskin stapling and everything. You're totally okay with it. He said, I'm having fun. At that point, isn't that where you go, okay, I'm out. This is not what I signed up for.
What could possibly
what are we
be
doing?
Happening next?
You do a casino thing. Hands up. I can't do it anymore. I'm going to go drink in the parking lot. This is fucking crazy.
This is your apartment now, forever. I'm not coming in here ever again.
I'm having fun.
Oh, boy.
What the fuck you want from me?
Do you think he said it like that, like with a shrug? I'm having fun.
I think he said, I'm having fun.
Or did he fist pump? I'm having fun.
I'm having fun. Like he's on the back of a fucking like he's on a jet ski.
The lonely fuck screaming.
One hand on the handlebar, one fist up in the air. Woo! Big thing of water shooting out beyond. Woo! No life jacket on. I don't give a fuck. I just picture he's like, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
What? Like,
what?
You never did this before? Yeah. What the fuck, man? Don't knock it till you tried it.
How do you have fun?
Yeah, how do you have fun? Fucking boring people around here.
Wow, what a scene.
So around 11 o'clock p.m., so this has been going on for hours
now.
Way too long. Any amount of time's way too long, but they...
too many lines have been crossed. Like, at some point, you got to get to a line and be like, too much.
I think we've gone a little too far, right? This is bad. Let's not tell anyone about this.
Bye.
So Matsky's the one that tells Cook that they can't let him go now. They're like, well, we can't let this guy
go.
When we robbed him and tied him to a chair, we could have been like, hey, motherfucker, don't go to the cops. You'll end up going, they'll ship you back to Nicaragua. Right. They could have fucking threatened him with that if you just took $90 and tied him to a chair and slapped him around a little bit. Once you've stapled his foreskin to a chair and fucking raped him.
James, there was a
it's over.
There was a stopping point in between that
with the cigarettes.
Nutsack burns.
Yeah. Even
that's like, dude,
I feel like the cigarette burns, you could have still probably sent him on his way without his money and he wouldn't have said anything to anybody just to fucking not make any waves and not get kicked out of the country.
Right.
Once you staple his foreskin to the chair, I'd rather be in Nicaragua at that point. I'm not being sodomized while I'm stapled to a chair at that point.
Isn't why I came here.
Fuck it. You know what? Maybe the United States isn't all it's cracked up to be at this point. They said the streets were paved with gold. I'm not seeing that. Let's just say that.
Fuck this place.
I'm just going to say I'm not seeing it. Let's just say that.
I don't see the value in freedom.
I'm not seeing I think it's overrated, let's just say. A little overrated. So, I'm
not seeing it.
So Matsky tells Cook, we got to kill this fucking guy.
Jesus.
Cook, rather than going, really? You think so? Or I don't know. He goes, well, let's kill him at midnight, the witching hour.
What?
That's what I mean. He's always has like this, like, like he has a response locked and loaded already in a situation where you would need a second to think about it. Yeah. He's right on top of shit.
These two yes men together.
Yeah, he said we need to kill him, and he goes, midnight, witching hour. Yeah. Let's fucking do it. Like,
having fun.
Fuck yeah, we're having fun. Woo! Fucking peel it off. So they continue. So what do we do? We have an hour till midnight. Well, we can keep torturing him. I guess that's fun. So they keep torturing him for another hour. Wow. They don't even just leave him there, or just kill him then and have some fucking something. But they torture him for an hour.
Killing him was Matsky's idea.
Matsky said we can't let him go, and Ramos is like, fuck no, let's kill him at midnight. Shit, yeah,
53 minutes.
Ramos. Yeah, we got some time. So they continue to torture him until midnight. At midnight, Matsky attempts to strangle Ramos with first a bed sheet, and that doesn't really work too
really
well.
Fucking hard.
You have to really, wrap it up, and then he grabs a pipe, which again doesn't really go around, so you can crush a windpipe, but it's kind of difficult to do a strangle job. A fucking piece of rope, a string, a clothesline, something, you fucking idiots.
You've got two.
They can't even do this right.
You also got two pieces right there that create a garrote, you fucking jerk
Try
off.
that. Yeah, something. Let's not get into it.
I don't want to coach them in this.
I'm just saying, I don't think these two are going to figure that out.
Really like this poor fuck to be done fast. Jesus.
So
he's being tortured.
Eventually, Matsky places Ramos on the floor, places the pipe across his neck, and stood on the pipe until he dies.
That'll do it.
He just stands on it. Well, eventually he'll stop fucking breathing, and it took a long time, minutes upon minutes.
2, 3, 4.
He didn't die till around 12:15.
Oh,
they
Jesus.
started at midnight, trying to kill this man. Afterwards, they threw his body down the stairs. Okay,
that'll get rid of it.
They threw the body down the stairs. They had to bring it downstairs. Why carry it? Just roll him down the steps, and then they stuffed him into Matsky's closet. Okay. I don't know why they had to move rooms.
Yeah,
Cook's like, I can't have my. You know me, I'm kind of a clean freak.
Right.
I like to keep my space. I just like to keep the floor empty. You know what I mean? I don't want a lot of stuff on it. So we can just keep him in your room.
Pretty impressive place. It's got an upstairs.
Yeah, 2 bedrooms.
Yeah.
Not bad for 2 Bob's Big Boy employees.
In Kingman.
Not too fucking shabby. Yeah. So around 2:30 or 3 a.m. now, another person arrives at the apartment.
Oh, no.
A Kevin Swaney.
Yeah.
He's 16 years old. A coworker at the Bob's Big Boy.
Yeah.
He works there also with them. And this is fast food. You get teenagers mixing with people who are in their 20s and just can't fucking get their shit together.
Right.
16, you should be working at Bob's Big Boy.
Right.
You have nothing else. You don't have any experience. 25, you should not be working there anymore.
Further than this.
Yeah, he was like 28 years old working at Bob's Big Boy. Unless you're managing it, get your shit together. So, no offense if you work fast food, but you need to get your shit together. That's not your goal.
What
the fuck I'm telling you this for?
It's a 16-year-old or a Nicaraguan illegal immigrant job. It's not for you.
It's not for you. Yeah, you should do something else. So he arrives there. Now, at first, he knocks on the door. At first, I guess it's like the hangout place. You can go drink beer. And if you're 16, it's a place I can go drink beer, smoke weed. They'll hang out. It's older dudes that can hang out in there and drink and just got off work. So he ends up, they tell him to leave. Yeah. They go, no, you can't come in. You got to leave. But then eventually, Cook calls him back and says, no, it's all right, you can come in, and calls him back into the apartment. So Cook, at this point, tells the Swaney kid, Kevin Swaney, that he has some drugs, Cook does, that he wants to get rid of. And he pushed a couch in front of the door of the apartment. Like, we don't want anybody getting in here while I break these drugs out. Right. Like people are just going to know it. Right. The police have a sensor that's going to go off.
They're out.
They're out. Kick down the door. Right. So he does that. So he pushes the door in there. It's at this point that Cook and Matsky tell Swaney about Ramos. They go, we got a dead body.
Yeah.
We got a fucking dead body.
We've done some shit.
So Cook takes Swaney upstairs to show him, to do whatever, and then shows him the body. And then finally, when they return from seeing the body, Cook tells Matsky to get bindings and a gag. It's not good at that point. Cook then forces Swaney, tackles him, forces him to remove his clothes.
Oh, no.
They tie him to a chair. Matsky asks Cook what the fuck he's going to do here, because they're not on the same page as far as their plans go. Mm-hmm. Like, they just got him to a chair, and he goes, what are we doing?
Right.
Why do we have a naked teenager tied to a fucking chair right now?
Yeah.
As anyone who's not even if you're sick, you're not as sick as him, you're going, this is not what I'm thinking. And especially you've seen the stapler action before.
Right.
So Cook says, I just want to talk to him. So
we can't talk with our clothes on.
I mean,
what
we can't talk, in the living room with my clothes on.
Right.
You can talk at any point. So the Matsky told Cook that if he's going to torture Swaney, he doesn't want any part of it. Yeah. Matsky goes, whatever he did the other guy, whatever. But if you're going to fucking do the same thing again, I don't want any part of this shit. I'm fucking done. So he just, rather than like forcing him to release him or figuring out what to do, he just goes, I don't know, I'm done. And he goes in the living room and goes to sleep.
What?
Leaves Swaney in Cook's room with Cook tied to a chair naked and goes to sleep.
Wow.
About 4:30 or 5 in the morning now, a couple hours go by. Cook wakes Matsky up.
Oh, sweet Pete.
When he does, Swaney's still tied up to the chair and alive.
Yeah.
And Cook tells Matsky, okay, so I sodomized him real bad here, so I got to kill him now, obviously, because, I did the same thing I did to Ramos, and, this is a problem. So Cook takes a sheet and wraps it around his neck, and they finally figured out the garrote theory. They work in tandem to pull one side of the sheet until finally, apparently Matsky's end kept slipping out of his hand, and he couldn't figure it out. So Cook at one point said, this one's mine. I got this. And put Swaney on the floor and just strangles him. The old-fashioned way.
Just with his hand.
Just strangles him down. So then they take Swaney's body up and they put him in the closet with Ramos. They're stacking fucking bodies like cordwood at this point.
Yeah.
This was not a plan.
No.
This was not. This guy was flipping burgers 12 hours ago. He did not know this was his evening.
Oh, boy.
This is crazy. So they put him down there, and then they, stretch. Oh, man, it's been a long day. Let's get some shut-eye. And they just went to sleep.
That's nighttime.
Let's go to sleep now. That's it. Yeah, it's morning. Let's go to sleep.
So they kill 2 people and then they go to sleep.
They go to sleep. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a lot of strangling. I've sodomized 2 guys against their will. It's a lot of stapling. It's been a lot. It's been a lot.
I finished once. I'm sleeping.
Oh, teenagers and immigrants. This is, I'm sure more than that. That afternoon, they wake up, rested. Matsky goes to work for about 2.5 hours before he leaves early because he was concerned about what Cook was going to do in the apartment if he wasn't there.
Yeah.
He's like, who the fuck? I'm going to come home. There could be 5 more people there. Who the fuck? He could have a sodomy line going on. I have no idea what's going on. So he gets home. When he gets home, he sees Cook. He's just hanging out. Yeah. So they go to a bar and drink for a few hours.
They still got people in their house.
Oh, dead in the closet.
Oh,
they're in the closet, though, Jimmy. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, once a few hours, you're going to have some problems.
Jimmy. Once somebody's dead in the closet, they're dead. They're gone now.
That is true.
They're forgotten. Their memory's gone. The cops aren't looking for them. They're in the closet. They know.
Never smell again.
Come on. No, it's all gone. Especially in I'm sure I don't know what their electric bill they could keep, but in the Lake Havasu summer heat, I bet they didn't keep their house at 70 fucking degrees.
No.
Because good luck with that shit. So, this isn't. I feel like there's an evap cooler going on here. This is not
I guarantee it.
This is an evap cooler with a window air conditioning unit system.
There is a Home Depot bucket full of ice with a fan blowing on it.
Pretty much, and 2 bodies in the goddamn closet. So, about 10:30 p.m. they come home. All day they go drinking. 10:30 they come home to the complex, and there's a guy named Byron Watkins and some other friends of theirs by the pool at the apartment complex. So they kick back by the pool for a while, hang out with their friends, have a couple of beers. Cook and then Matsky now invite their friends over. Come on by our place.
Rather not.
What the First of all, wouldn't you avoid having anyone in your apartment at that? Oh, it's filthy in there. There's just bodies everywhere. There's foreskin on the chair. Damn it. Sorry. We spend too much time together. That happens every 5 episodes or so. We just jump at the same joke. So, what are you going to do?
Foreskin all over the place.
There's foreskin everywhere, stapled to all the seating. There's nowhere to sit. There's foreskin. There's foreskin stapled to everything.
It looks like we had a balloon party and just cut them off the...
I wouldn't eat at that table. So it just gets bad. So they invite the friends over, whatever. They come over the next day. The next morning, Matsky shows Watkins the bodies, the guy from the pool.
Well, it smells.
We have bodies.
We know.
Yeah, I want to see.
When you open the door, I smelled it.
So this Watkins guy, being a sane person, he says, you go to the fucking police.
Yeah.
He tells us, Matsky, you got to go to the fucking police, dude. You can't have body. This is fucking fucking next level crazy. Like a sane person who's not on meth for 5 days has finally entered the fucking picture to say, whoa, T, let's take a time out here. What the fuck is going on? So, he's like, this is crazy shit. So Matsky and Watkins go to the police department, and Matsky gives a full, detailed videotape confession to the whole thing. Tells them everything that happened. His involvement, doesn't pull any punches.
Zero chance of getting away with it. He's just like, listen,
I'm fucked.
Guys, I already know what's going down.
My best chance is for me not to be the one who's the ringleader.
The problem.
That's it. Yeah, basically blame the bulk of this on someone else, which it was him.
Number two. Number one was you.
That's the other thing. He did say we can't let him go now. So at that point, it was the end of it. So, he goes there. Officers end up responding. They go to the apartment about 4:50 a.m. and arrest Cook and find the bodies, obviously. Now, Cook said...
Still there.
Oh, still there. They haven't done anything with the bodies.
2 days later.
Where are they going to take them? They're just sitting there. They had no plans of what to do with them either. They're just stacking them. They gave Cook Miranda warnings, and he still had something to say, though. He says, quote, "We got to partying. Things got out of hand. Now 2 people are dead."
You know, meth is the Gatorade of murder.
Yeah, that was it. Like we've said over and over. You know their slogan. And then he said, quote, my roommate killed one and I killed the other. He's just real casual. And then he said, all right, that he admitted choking Swaney to death with his bare hands. And then he said, I don't want to talk anymore about it, though. You got what you need. I told you what's going on here.
This is giving me a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on. So July 21st, 1987, this is 2 days later, or the next day after that, Cook and Matsky are both charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, including there's death penalty shit here too. Like it's a death penalty eligible crime.
Absolutely.
Which we'll talk about. A guy named Claude Keller, who will come up again, was appointed to represent Cook. They indict him, obviously. All that goes down. They need to give Cook some psychological evaluations. He's a little, they look at his records and go, whoa, okay, let's find out if he's sane or not.
He's a little foreskin short of a whole day.
I would say so. He is definitely, he's definitely fucking one foreskin short of an entire fucking package. Let's put it that way. Never mind a dick. Just the whole package and balls and everything else. So, he has an evaluation here. This is for the specific purpose of determining his capacity to understand the court proceedings and whether he can assist in his defense and that sort of shit here. They evaluate him. The same psychiatrist evaluates both him and Matsky, which is kind of a procedural no-no because you're not supposed to.
Is it like a conflict of interest?
You're not supposed to have same psychiatrist examine co-defendants.
Yeah,
because you can whatever. One can say something about the other that could fuck up your judgment. So
or you could convince. That's the word I was going to say. Consider convince one to say some stuff.
You never know.
The other, right?
Yeah, you never know here. It's just supposed to fuck up the whole thing. Sure. So it wasn't a matter of opinions though. This was a matter of like just facts. So he says that Cook was obviously goes over his whole history of sexual abuse and mental abuse and physical abuse. They talk about a time when he was molested at a Greyhound station. Apparently somebody raped Cook at a Greyhound station at gunpoint when he was a teenager.
Shit.
Which is that's the only. Is there any place
you up forever? That might be worse than mom.
That's worse than anything.
Yeah.
That's almost worse than being on a Greyhound bus and being raped at the station. It's almost worse. Almost. I mean, you can't smell that bus bathroom, so it's a little better, but it's not much better. It's still bad stuff. So they also report in this report they talked to him about drugs and that he drank a case and a half of beer and did a shitload of meth for 5 days before this went on.
This is going to be so sticky.
They conducted a IQ test and says he has a 91 IQ.
Okay.
So which is pretty 92 low. Total. It's 90. That's average. It's right in the average range. 90 to 110 is perfectly average.
Okay, because I was thinking 110 was
no. Anything over 110 is above.
Okay.
So 90 to 110, you're in the average range. So there's nothing wrong there. He understands what he's doing. He's not, anything. Some of these people, I look at some of these cases, and it's like, he had an IQ of 58, and they executed him. I'm like, I can't do that fucking case. I'm just going to get angry. Fucking execute people that don't know.
That deficient?
They don't know, what they're doing. Right. So, they said that he was competent to stand trial. He's able to appreciate the difference between right and wrong, and that sort of thing. They said that he has a second evaluation that says his mother had bipolar disorder, and his mother's been sober since 1983 is the claim there. So they talk about his drug use. Apparently, it's literally anything he can get his hands on. They think that he has a lot of tendencies that are borderline personality,
there you go.
Which would be seems more accurate than the passive-aggressive horseshit or whatever. They talked about all the medical records, all the different times he's been in the hospital. They said that he blacked out for many events during the weekend, and that he lacked normal inhibition and was more impulsive and shit like that, but still sane, they say. Now, October 30th, 1987, Matsky enters into a guilty plea and an agreement to testify against Cook. Here.
With what?
The trial judge here sentences him on this afterwards. We'll get to that. Okay. We'll get to his sentence afterwards. Okay. Just keep that in mind, okay? He's got a deal, though.
Yeah.
And Cook here, Cook's investigators and his counsel here, they attend to the whole thing, and we'll talk about that. They try to make a big stink out of his sentencing. So there's a court hearing January 4th, 1988. They says that he's competent to stand trial, all the examinations and all of that. So April of 1988, Cook, files a motion to waive counsel and have his counsel appointed as his advisory counsel, as he would like to represent himself.
Perfect.
Because obviously, when you work at Bob's Big Boy and got a GED, and you
know so much more,
you know the law, and you should probably just take it on your own hands to represent yourself. Fucking idiot. So, they fuck it. Jesus Christ. He says to the judge, and this isn't bad for him, if you're amenable to my waiver of counsel, I would ask that you not appoint Mr. Keller as my legal advisor. Mr. Keller has worked hard for my defense, cares about the outcome of my trial. My personal beliefs is that he cannot advise me according to my defense. So he's like, I'm going to represent myself, and I don't want this fucking guy next to me, too.
And the judge should fucking say, that is absolutely your right, sir.
That's fine.
You're
knock yourself out.
Fucking nuts for that.
Go ahead. Cook then asked the judge for some other lawyer to be his advisory counsel, but the judge said that that guy's not available. The only other guy who's available is this guy, and Cook said, no, I won't take him. So they said, well, you're running out of fucking choices, Chief. You got about three choices, and you've rejected two of them at this point.
Listen, Goldilocks, you better pick one that's just right.
I don't know what to do here. So then they also go into a lengthy explanation of the perils of self-representation and the whole thing, and Cook says, nope, still want to represent myself. I know all that shit, and I'm straight. I'm good. Thumbs up, brother. I just gave Jimmy a big thumbs up. Things are good. I'm straight. So, the court found that Cook voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently gave up his right to counsel. They grant his motion and appointed the same guy that he didn't want, Mr. Keller, as his advisory counsel, because there's no one else. Right. So, So, December 16th, 87, the state files a motion of, this is before this, state files a motion to preclude evidence of intoxication, to make that so he can't use that as a defense. You can't be like, I was so drunk I stapled an immigrant's foreskin to a chair and raped him.
That's a hell of a story.
That's very drunk.
Yeah.
Everyone in the jury's been drunk before, and they're all going, that's not what I do when I'm drunk.
I don't drink enough.
I'll just eat weird shit and fall asleep on the couch. I don't I don't party like this guy parties.
Puke in my kid's toy box and go the fuck to bed.
That's it. They find it the next day, and I go, that is weird. Maybe we have ghosts. So, So at a hearing here, he didn't oppose the motion.
No.
He said, quote, what the prosecutor brings up in his motion basically does not even apply to my defense, Your Honor. He's not going to say, I did it and I was fucked up. His defense is, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Not me. Just that's his defense. Don't know what you mean. Yeah, that guy that said that and the people that came in and saw the bodies in the closet and everybody said, I have no idea what you're talking about. Not a fucking clue. So he says they also reiterated to him him before the trial that he can't use drinking or drug use as a defense, and he says, I don't plan on it. He said he elected general denial and alibi theories as his affirmative defenses, and reiterated that he did not want to present evidence of drinking or drug use. He claimed in his opening statement that he, quote, merely repeated the detective's statement, and I asked for an attorney as I had nothing further to say. He basically said, the attorney said, so you raped him and killed him? And he went, I raped him and killed him?
And that's his defense.
And that's his defense.
Jeez.
It's the My Cousin Vinny thing.
Yeah.
It's literally My Cousin Vinny goes, I killed the clerk.
Right.
I shot the clerk. Like, what are you talking about? But he's not a fucking wise-ass skinny from New York that asks everything like a question. So I don't buy that at all.
He's an idiot with no direction in life that does this shit.
Yeah, he said basically he went, so I raped an immigrant and fucking stapled his foreskin to the chair? I'm not talking anymore. That's the way he said it went down. Real sarcastic guy. That's how he is here.
All right.
So, that's not actually what's happened here. He denied confessing. He denies all that shit. The obviously detectives talk about their contact with him and the fact that he wasn't being sarcastic. Cook attempts to discredit the detective's testimony that Cook confessed to killing him by asking about, it's so weird, he asks about the circumstances of the statement and why the statement wasn't taped. Videotaped, and the detective said that Cook's confession wasn't taped because Cook invoked his right to remain silent, and then he just popped out and said it. Okay. He goes, well, that's not, those are different.
We weren't prepared.
We weren't, He didn't say, I'm going to give a statement now. Okay, let's turn the camera on.
He said he wasn't going to talk, so we said, all right, cool. And then he just started talking.
Exactly.
What, are we going to start the tape in the middle of it?
Yeah, so at this point, Cook approaches the bench and moves for a mistrial. And the judge goes, you're really not good at this, are you? You're not a lawyer, are you? You just saw that on Law & Order one time. That's not happening. You don't get a fucking mistrial here. So the trial judge denies all of that, finding that his testimony was fine, and it was a proper explanation for why he wasn't taped, and Cook needs to shut the fuck up and move on, basically. So in his closing argument, Cook attempts to argue that he was not at the apartment at all, tries to blame Matsky and Watkins, the guy from the pool, for the murders. He says that he couldn't tell the jury about any party in his apartment, stating, quote, Mr. Matsky stated in testimony there was a party that night at the apartment. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. And later on, he said, at no time did any of the officers ever state I confessed to killing someone, which that's not even true. Right. And then he argued a lot about Matsky's motive to lie. Yep. Well, he killed them both. Of course he's going to blame me. Now, the prosecutor said that Cook failed to tell defense witnesses, and basically he told everyone that he did do it. Right. He told people that he was going to have to establish an alibi and all that sort of shit. There's jailhouse snitches involved that heard him say that. Also, the prosecutor says that Cook has something to hide because he covered up. This is just one of those things. It's the 80s and people aren't cool with tattoos. Yeah. He has a big dagger tattoo on his forearm, which doesn't look good if you're in a murder trial. Right. So he covered it up with a big Band-Aid is what he did. So the prosecutor calls him out for that and says, see, he covered up his dagger tattoo with a large bandage. What else isn't he fucking telling you? Mm-hmm. He's obviously trying to show, hide who he is.
What, he had a job interview, sir?
Yeah, come on. What do you put a long sleeve shirt on? Right. That's something you could do.
That's the other part. He showed up as a lawyer with a short sleeve shirt.
But it's problems. Jeez, probably had overalls on. I haven't seen the trial, but we're lucky he's got fucking clothes on.
He may not have had a shirt on at all.
That's what I mean. Just overalls. That counts as a shirt, Your Honor.
So my nipples is covered.
Absolutely, man. So the prosecutor said, well, Matsky made a videotape statement, and we heard continuous cross-examination of the detective of why the defendant didn't make one. He didn't make one because the defendant was the one that cut off the interview. If he had made one, you would have had the statements we got to partying a little bit, and then things got out of hand. My roommate killed one, and I killed the other. I killed Kevin. You would have heard the same exact statements. In addition, the prosecutor here talks about the witnesses to the crime, saying, quote, there were only 4 people there at the time of the deaths. 2 of them are dead. One's in prison and one is the defendant, because Matsky had pled guilty. The prosecutor followed this up by discrediting his alibi defense, saying that he had an alibi witness, and the guy who was his alibi witness was in jail at the time. He was in jail that day. And he said, that guy couldn't have been there because he was in fucking jail that day. So clearly you weren't hanging out with him, dummy. That didn't work out.
That shoots your whole fucking story.
Bad shit. Yeah, and then he also says John Matzke doesn't have anything to hide. This man does. Then he talks about the forearm tattoo, which I think is just fucking bullshit. Yeah. Bullshit distraction, but it's one of those. And he played 80s. Video games with violence. It's just stupid.
That's the 80s.
It's the 80s, yeah. That we wonder what else he had covered up. That's what they said. But we don't have to wonder long. We don't have to wonder hard because he's done a poor job of covering everything else up, is what the prosecutor says.
And then Law and Order started.
And so he said, when he says Matzke's a liar, he's not. No man would basically put himself into the degree that he didn't know, that he wouldn't lie and say that fucking what he said, basically. It happened. He wouldn't
incriminate himself so hard.
He wouldn't have shown up there. It's not like they arrested him and then he said, all right, fine, I was a little bit, but it was mainly him. He went there and went, holy shit, there's bodies, and this guy, I don't know what the fuck's going on. It was a different thing. So while all this is going on, Cook makes no objections to the prosecutor saying any of this, nothing. He tries to have a mistrial at some point here in the end, and they said, no, stupid, you still can't have a mistrial. And he goes, oh, sorry. Try again tomorrow. So there's also a juror issue here. The state began to present its evidence. The jury granted a motion to the prosecutor to excuse a jury for cause. Apparently, the jury had tried to talk to the prosecutor and ask questions. He said he approached him and asked if it was proper for me to speak with him, and the prosecutor said no. And then he was going to wait and see. And the guy said, "Well, I'll talk to you a little bit later." And then the guy tried to approach him again, and then I guess this guy had this juror had talked to coworkers about the case and had talked about a bunch of basically that she was talking about the case to coworkers and all that. So she said that she didn't think it was a well-organized trial and that some of the witnesses made themselves look as if they didn't know what they were talking about. And she was just saying a bunch of shit that would disqualify her as a fucking juror.
She hates this trial.
She hates this trial, yeah.
She has a trip to be on, and this ain't where she wants to be.
Yeah, that's the thing. They asked her about the photographs, and she was talking about the crime scene photographs and shit like that. And she was just kind of liking the attention of the whole thing. And so they end up tossing her out. Good. And they just have the remaining 14 jurors to pick 12 out of there. So the court, they do their jury instructions here. They inform Cook that that he did not include any lesser included instructions or alternate jury shit. You didn't say instruct him on second degree. You didn't say instruct him on anything. You just said fucking let it fly. Yeah. So Cook didn't object to a first-degree murder instruction using knowingly as the required mental state. Yeah. So he didn't object to that. Okay. All he had to do was knowingly kill this guy, and he's guilty of first-degree murder. Oh, boy. So he fucked up good there. He didn't set himself up. He ends up requesting the second-degree murder instruction because Matzke had pleaded guilty to second-degree murder under the terms of the plea bargain. But he doesn't ask for special instructions on certain things. So the judge concluded there's no evidence to show a lack of premeditation and denied his request to give second-degree jury instructions. Oh. So he says, no, it's first degree or nothing. Fuck off. So jury, July 6th, 1988, jury begins deliberations at 2:07 p.m. 3:23 p.m. they come in with their verdict.
Okay.
Not very long.
That was pretty quick.
About how long it takes to fill out paperwork. In a death penalty case we're talking about here. Death penalty on the table here. Yeah. That's why they give him the first degree with the aggravators. So they find him guilty on all counts. Yep. First degree murder. Yep. He's fucked, basically. Yeah. We'll get to the rest in a second. Cook here files a motion for further mental evaluation. Now he says he's crazy. Yeah. He says he wants the judge to reconsider. He says there's mitigating circumstances with the mental stuff that he wants to put forth during the sentencing to try to not get, the death penalty. At sentencing, August 8th, 1988, Cook declines to present any evidence to the court.
Nothing.
Doesn't say I'll give you a character witness. I'll fucking say I'm not a bad guy.
Cook, what are you doing,
Here's my medical records of my fucking childhood and everything else. Nothing. He just goes, whatever, I'm fine. He complained that he was not given proper access to the Mojave County Law Library at one point. But then he stands up to the court and he says, quote, the only sentence I will accept from this court at this time is the penalty of death, Your Honor. I have nothing further. And he sat down. Fucking kill me. Yeah. So now he wants the death penalty. So the court, looks over all this shit. They find aggravating factors, that he killed Ramos for monetary gain.
And to cover up a crime.
And that he murdered Ramos and Sweeney were done in especially heinous, cruel, and depraved manner, which I would fucking say. And that multiple murders were committed in one kind of scheme.
That'll do it.
Those are all death penalty things. So he's got 3 of them. 0 mitigating factors for him. He presents nothing. Ugats, as we would say here.
He's got plenty to bring out.
No, and the judge even brought up. The judge said he considered his prior history of mental illness, suicide attempts, mental problems, and all that shit.
Weren't you raped, sir?
He said he found, this is crazy, the judge found that there was no connection between Cook's prior mental problems and the murders. There's a giant connection to it. He did the same thing people did to him. It's pretty clear.
It right up, sir.
He was tied up and burned with cigarettes and raped and blah, blah, blah. It's all pretty clear. Yeah, it's pretty clear. The court found 0 mitigating factors to offset the aggravating factors, and they sentenced him, you, sir, may fuck off, death penalty for the murder, 21 years for kidnapping, 21 years for sexual assault, and 21 years for burglary. So death plus 63 years.
That's tough.
That's fucking rough. Once in prison, he begins to receive regular psychiatric care and becomes fucking a little stable. He becomes pen pals with a bunch of people. He's one of those guys.
Yeesh.
There's a woman named Elizabeth McAwit in England.
Oh, God damn it.
Who writes with him for a long time. She says, quote, we have prayed with him and tried to comfort him in his distress and fear.
Fucking we?
Her whole family.
Oh, boy.
And discovered that actually Daniel has been comforting us. And every letter he writes to my children.
Nope.
To my children.
You loony bitch.
To my friends. He asked them to pray for me and for them to help me through this dreadful time. Where does that even come from?
He raped and murdered a 16-year-old.
So write letters to my kids.
What are you doing?
No. Stay away from my fucking kids. Apparently she started corresponding with another death row inmate who decided that he didn't want to write to someone overseas because she's in England.
It's expensive.
I don't want to deal with that. So Cook said he took over. He's like, I'll fucking write to her. I got nobody to write to. So he did. He says, quote, he asked about my boundaries pretty early on in a very mature way. So we started out and then friendship went from there. Wow.
What were your boundaries? I want specifics.
Well, like, what can we talk about family? Can we talk about this? Or do you just want to talk about the world? Or what are you comfortable talking with a fucking horrible murderer about?
Do you want foreskin pics?
Yeah, I can send them. I can send you the foreskin. I have it in an envelope.
It happened when I was 15. It doesn't look great, but I'll show you.
It's a little old by now. It's a little ratty.
It's like a sunroof.
You know how it goes. He said, I noticed early on that Elizabeth was not a looky-loo, a person who writes death row prisoners just to see what life is like on death row, quickly losing interest and stop writing. He said, Elizabeth gave me her word that she would not leave and would stay with me for as long as I wanted or needed her to be in my life. That was a huge promise to make and keep when given to a stranger that you know nothing about. But here we are, and not only is Elizabeth still beside me, but she is still needed. So he talks about that. He says that she offered him a gift, send him stuff, and he said, quote, gifts in my past usually meant that I would soon be required to do something I neither liked doing or wanted to do. So he takes that as I don't want to take anything. And then another inmate says, fucking, hey, you're going to offend this lady. You got a nice lady trying to send you gifts and shit. You should probably accept them and whatever. So he said he accepted her gift, and he said nothing was required of me, so I trusted her, basically. He said that his main thing was, quote, she wasn't angry with me, which surprised the heck out of me, as usually a lie was greeted with hate and violence. I was being introduced to a new kind of interaction with people. I was learning that it was okay to trust some people a little bit. She offered to host a birthday party for him, even though he's not there, at her house in England. So this is what we're talking about. She says, quote, he told me he knew he had his own birth mother, but he also told me that I showed him the qualities that he would have wanted in a mother, and said that if he had been able to choose a mother, he would have chosen someone like me. So I became his chosen mom, and Dan became our chosen Daniel. So this is all weird.
Like an empty chair at the birthday party with foreskin stapled to it.
With foreskin stapled to it. There's no candles. It's just a cake with foreskin on it. Jesus Christ. So there's the cupcakes with foreskin on them, so it fits. You know what I mean? It's not just sitting in the middle of the cake.
Shit.
That was better, I think. We made it better. So on the appeal, his lawyers, he accuses his lawyer that was with him hanging out there of being drunk and incompetent. He said he was forced to represent himself because of his drunk, incompetent lawyer. He said his attorney did no investigating, no theory of defense, no plan for mitigation, and he said that his breath smelled of alcohol. Is what he said. So they said, we don't really have any evidence of that. He brings up, I want to say it's like 33 points of error on this whole thing.
33.
We're not going to go through it all here, but it's
32 times he asked for a mistrial and then the drunk lawyer.
Everything from error in denying his Sixth Amendment right to choose counsel and all that, to error in refusing to grant a mistrial over prosecutor comments, error in dismissing a juror and refusing to continue the trial to allow him to secure additional witnesses, shit like that. It's all sorts of shit. He says that finding Ramos's murder was for monetary gain, which they fucking the whole point of it was let's steal his money.
Right.
That's how it started. So his thing was they didn't start out saying we'll kill him to get his money. Well, you robbed him and then it escalated. So once you were robbing him, anything that happened to him, if he tripped and fell and hit his head by accident as you were stealing money from him, that you just robbed him and you just killed him basically. If you do that, if you're robbing someone and they die, you killed them. That's murder.
He died in the course of in the commission of your robbery.
Yeah, like the liquor store analogy we give at the beginning of the show often. That's not lately. Sometimes we'll avoid. Depends on if I have time. No time. We had the tour dates. We got to fucking hustle in the beginning. Got to get into the show by 5 minutes. So, he all sorts of, he's saying that Matsky's testimony was coerced and he's saying he was lying on the other half. He doesn't know what he's doing here, but there is a lot of applying for rehearings and being denied this and that. The U.S. Supreme Court denies his petition at one point, files for federal habeas relief in 1997. Here, he has 21 claims for relief there. He's got a lot of time to argue. And one of the things he says was his request to represent himself was not knowing, voluntary, and informed, even though they said, hey, you shouldn't do this. And he went, oh, no, I got it. He said that he wasn't competent to represent himself. Well, who the fuck knows that but you? Like, you said you were. So, I mean, what else do you want? Like, I don't know. We went by your word.
You stood by it. You insisted.
You had the most to gain or lose out of this, so we figured that you would know.
Absolutely.
It's one of those things. Basically, he even said the trial court erred in finding the murder of Ramos was cruel, heinous, or depraved.
He agreed.
No. He thought they erred in that.
Oh, really?
He thought that's one of his points of appeal is that he thinks the killing was not cruel, heinous, or depraved.
It was humane as shit.
He tortured him for fucking 8 hours.
You were having fun,
raping him and fucking torturing him here. So they deny all this shit. Tell him to go fuck his mother, basically. Which. It's bad timing because this is one of the few cases where he actually did. June of 2000, he goes on a hunger strike in prison. The fact that he didn't die tells me that he eventually gave in. Didn't quite work out. 2007, John Matsky's released from prison.
No.
Did 20 years. He got sentenced to 20 years, did exactly 20 and released.
Wow.
2007, released from prison. He moved to Tucson, the only place worse than prison.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Look out, Tucson. There you got a good guy walking around.
Killed 2 people.
Yeah.
Well, at least one for sure. And was part of the other.
20 years, Tucson. Enjoy.
20 years is all you get for 2 murders.
20. This dude got the death penalty and he got 20.
Unbelievable.
I mean, I do think that, our guy here, Cook, was a little more enthusiastic about the whole thing, but still.
20 years and he's out.
20 fucking years. So then there's a clemency hearing here.
He killed a child,
Oh,
James.
it's a child. 16's a child. Absolutely. Paperwork filed by him. He says that he's a seriously mentally ill individual because he endured a childhood replete with sexual and physical abuse. He describes the horrors that he suffered. Everything that we discussed in the beginning, he talks about. He said that he said that his mother would beat him and then fondle him to make him feel better, quote unquote, shit like that. Talks about all the sexual abuse everywhere that he's ever been. Talks about the Greyhound station, and then he talks about being raped at a Greyhound station, which was just as harrowing as going to the Greyhound station to begin with. So after they hear about all of this, because all of this, because Cook didn't present it at court, wasn't in all the trial reports. Right. So the prosecutor doesn't know all this shit. So the prosecutor, who was the guy who prosecuted the case at the time, Eric Larson, he said to the clemency board, quote, "Had I been informed of this mitigating information regarding Dan's severely abusive and traumatic childhood and his mental illnesses, I would not have sought the death penalty in this case." He says, if I knew that, because you say, oh, he had a bad childhood. People do that. Oh, so what? So did I.
Vicious.
No one had that childhood. That childhood is beyond the pale. Like, that's worse than
that's the most abuse. Every place he went until he was 16
he was
abused
tortured
him.
and tortured.
Your first 16 years of life feels like for fucking ever.
Oh God, Jesus,
and so,
50 years.
And then pepper in being abused the whole time.
The whole time. The family, Swaney family, was listening on a speakerphone here. He said, "My sincerest apologies for the pain my actions have caused. I wish you all nothing but good from here on." His lawyer asked him if he wanted to live. He said yes. The lawyer said, "Why?" Why?
That's a good question.
Yeah, he said, "I think I can do a lot of good for people, for a lot of people in prison." He says that he could get an education if he wasn't on death row, and he could become a counselor for other prisoners. Okay. Calm down, Chief. Yeah. You get counseling first. Yeah. Then the Swaney family had a chance to address the board there, and one of the brothers said that a lot of people suffer difficult childhoods. Not everyone grows up to be a demented child molesting killer. True, but not that childhood. His sister, Swaney's sister, said the last 25 years have been torture for the whole family. Daniel Wayne Cook shook my trust in people. The brother here said that Cook, quote, "needs to be gone. It's too hard knowing this guy is alive." Cook's brother here, Swaney's brother, Kevin Swaney's brother, Jesus, said, quote, "We were all in foster care and we were all abused also. It's time for him to make peace with his maker. His maker is not mine. He needs to make peace with his maker." So he's just a pissed off dude here.
They hate him.
Yeah. The board votes that no commutation or reprieve would be granted. He said that he understands Cook's childhood was tragic, but, quote, "it's no excuse to visit on another what has been visited upon you." Yes, that's also true. March 2011, a Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals rejects his appeal on shortcomings in his defense during trial and sentencing because he insisted on representing himself. He tried to appeal for ineffective assistance of counsel, and they're like, "That's you, stupid. Fuck off."
You can't look in the mirror and say it's my fault.
Fuck.
If that's your fault, then so's the fucking murder.
Sorry, bro. Yeah. Execution is delayed on April 5th, 2011. Yeah. A week away from it, it's delayed. The Supreme Court ruling came down 24 hours before he was set to die. They win it, saying they wanted to look into further the claim that he didn't have effective counsel. They wanted to look into that further, and then they went, "Oh no, it's good. Never mind. You're fine.
Go ahead and shoot him up."
But it got him an extra year and change.
Wow.
His execution date's pushed from April 2011 to August 2012. Okay. August 8th, 2012 is execution day.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Is it in Florence?
It is in Florence, absolutely. Last meal time.
Yes.
Last meal.
It's been so long.
It has. It's been a long time. He chooses
Go ahead.
eggplant lasagna.
Why?
Why?
Why did you do that?
You're about to die. Have a piece of veal, sir. What are you doing? You are veal. What do you care? Don't feel bad for the veal. You're fucking veal. Eggplant lasagna, garlic cheese mashed potatoes, roasted Brussels sprouts, broiled asparagus, ice cream, and root beer.
It's not bad.
It's a weird meal. I feel like it's just a bunch of things he likes, not necessarily a meal that goes together.
Yeah, that's not something he's tried somewhere and was like, "That's the one I want."
You know, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and we've said a lot of bad things about this guy, but I don't think he'd be good at planning a dinner party. No. I'm just gonna say. I mean, I get that might be harsh, but I don't think he's going to be very good at it. No, I don't want to go to his house.
It's a terrible one.
And they don't say what flavor ice cream. I couldn't find out.
They just said ice cream?
Everywhere, and everywhere it just says ice cream. Okay. So they get him out there. They get him on the gurney. He's a little freaked out by the whole thing. He's kind of crying and shit like that. He's not real okay with this type of shit. His final words. Wow, are these a fucking doozy? This is what I mean, where he had the one thing, I can't remember what he said at work, and then he said, I'm having fun when he's, the guy asks him what he's doing. Right. He has something he'll come up with on the fly here. Final words. He says,
shouldn't have chose the eggplant.
Wow. It's better, dude. Okay. It's amazing. He says, quote, I'd like to say sorry to the victims' families. I know that's not enough. And then he pauses for like 3 seconds and says, where am I? And then he says, to my lawyers, thank you. Takes another pause, and then says, quote, Red Robin, yum, I'm done. I love you.
What?
Red Robin, yum. That's what he says. He basically said, yo quiero Taco Bell. I'm out of here. He said, Red Robin, he said, to my lawyers, thank you. Red Robin, yum, I'm done. Love you. That was his final words.
Wow.
Red Robin, yum, I'm done.
He went with the slogan.
He just had it stuck in his head. He's like, I don't know, Red Robin, yum. But that's on the spot.
Did he say yum or did he go yum?
No, he just said yum, like in a conversation. Red Robin, yum, I'm done. That's what he said, like fucking, just like he needed to get it out.
I wish he would have said pocket rock.
No shit. That would have been amazing.
A couple bars.
That would have been great. That would have been fucking great.
What year was this, 2015?
2012.
Okay.
There was still some execution drug shit going on here, but we won't get into that because listen to the Landrigan episode. Yeah. And then if you still want to know more, you can, I guess, listen to John Oliver talk about it, but we did it better. So, his family, the Swaney family's there, and the one brother had fucking, he said, quote, I felt sorry for him. He said, what he did was brutal and wrong. For a lot of years, I used to hate Cook, but the man I saw lying there in that gurney was scared. What he did was really wrong. And a lot of years, I used to hate him. I mean, I do hate him. The man I saw in that gurney was scared, though. By no means am I advocating what he did, but at the same time, no one should have to die alone.
He didn't get closure.
He feels terrible.
He wanted.
No, he feels fucking awful, this guy.
He wishes that guy would have been drug in there against his will.
Yeah.
Kicking and screaming.
Well, the sister jumped in and said, why? Kevin did. That's all I have to say. And she walked away. So they were actually arguing with each other. Then his other brother here said, his views are not mine. He said, for me personally, he's always been with me, but it doesn't consume every moment. This doesn't mean I love him anymore, talking about his brother, and that sort of thing. But he's saying that, he didn't mind, this whole thing happening here. They chose the left arm. He gulped several times, and his pupils got wide toward the end, which probably means he wasn't fucking unconscious when the shit was going on. See that episode of The Drugs Don't Fucking Work. Okay. But anyway, that was it. He is pronounced dead on August 8th, and that is a tale. Mm-hmm. That is a tale of bad fucking things happening to people.
Leave it to a woman to have the best last words, though, of like the family, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the other brothers, like, don't listen to my pussy brother. We don't feel the same way. But the other girl's like, I don't know, our brother didn't get that.
Our brother didn't get that. And then she dropped the mic and walked out of the fucking room.
Peace out, bitches.
Pow. And
leave it to my brother to say something
somebody
stupid
and kept
that's
going.
Coherent.
No shit, that dumb fuck. So yeah, that is the story of Daniel Cook and Kevin Swaney and Carlos Ramos, Cruz Ramos, and Matsky and Lake Havasu City, Arizona. Everybody, so
lock your doors, Tucson.
Lock your doors, Tucson. You guys have a murderer around there. Well, many of them. It's Tucson, but I assume that's where most murderers go when they get out of jail.
He's not the worst person in Tucson, probably.
Oh God, no, not the worst person on his street. If he lives in an apartment complex, the guy in 3F is worse than him. Like this is Tucson, man. So yes, that's that. If you enjoyed that story, you're a sick bastard.
Yeah,
but you're also our kind of sick bastard, and you can tell us all about it by going to over to iTunes, whatever the hell it is, Apple Podcast, the purple icon. Give us a review. 5 stars would be wonderful. Just doesn't matter what you say. You can say you're following instructions, following directions. It doesn't matter. It's not for our ego. It's really just to drive us up the charts. Right. So that would be greatly appreciated if you could do that. Other things, follow us on social media. Why don't you? We're at Murder Small on Twitter. We're at Small Town Pod on Facebook and at Small Town Murder on Instagram. You can catch us there. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your small town murder needs, including tickets to live shows, which are not on sale yet. Yeah. Do not say, where are the tickets? Why aren't they on sale? Not yet. That's why they're not on sale yet.
I just want you to know where we're going.
We want you to know where we're going. They will be on sale next week. Pre-sale the 15th, full sale the 17th. Right. So look out for that. And thank you for being interested. We're excited to do all this shit.
Great.
So please come do all that. check out the merchandise, buy a t-shirt, wear it to a live show. If you want to be an even bigger superstar, a wonderful human being who we could not do this without, you can do that extremely easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports or heading over to PayPal and using our email address, which is crimeinsports@gmail.com. Or you can get to both of those right from shutupandgivememurder.com.
That is true.
God damn it, that's convenient, isn't it? That said, damn it, Jimmy, I think I need to hear the people.
Yeah.
I need to hear the wonderful people. I need to hear their names. Yeah. Sing them like a song from the top of the mountains. Hit me with it, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are Sarah McCormack, Leah Egan of the Egan Sisters fame, Neelu Rafsanjani up there in San Francisco. She's the bodybuilder. She's a badass.
Yeah, she's cool as shit.
Robin and Jake Anderson, Travis and Chrissy Saunders, who've been with us forever.
You guys are awesome, man.
From Salt Lake, right?
OG Salt Lake City, baby.
Absolutely. Lainey Eagle, I missed her birthday. Sorry, Lainey.
No.
Hannah, what is it? Oh, it's Hannah Power. And then Neil Patel, the Sinister Minister. I kind of dig, I don't know. I just like that he's got himself a little
Sinister
nickname.
Minister. That was a wrestling manager, Sinister Minister.
Is that what it is?
Maybe that's what it is. With ECW. And,
he had some other AKAs that I didn't write them all down, just the Sinister Minister. I'm good with that either way. Other producers this week are Nadine Carter, Christian Lopez, Robin Durbin, Casey Sailstrom, Cooper Critchfield, David Gessing, Nicola Elliott, Mike Toms, Carissa Wilson, Shanna with no last name, Ashley Robelia, Lynn Cornell, Madeline Bebler, Paula, what is that? Salamanca? Yeah, that's an Italian girl. That's what that is. I'm sure of it. TJ McCullum.
How you doing, sweetheart?
TJ McCullum, Avriel Peach or Petch or Pie. Nope, I'm not getting it. I'm sorry. Miller Hines, and he made a bunch of memes for us last week. Thanks, Miller. Appreciate it. M Cannon 02. I don't know what. That's just like a screen name or whatever. Didn't have a name. It just said M Cannon 02.
Well, we appreciate you.
Right. Nora. About Ham. No, that's not what that is. Abatram. Autotram. No. What did I do?
I like when you go, I got it. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
I'm sorry, Nora.
That's awesome.
Katie Combs, Liz Allen, Hazy Nelson, Elle Bertoni, Kim Riley, Shannon with no last name, Kimberly Stoltman, Andrea Papageorge, Nicole Holtzmark. Did I say that? No, Nicole Holtzmark. That's what that is. That's two different people. There was Kimberly Stoltman. That's what it was.
Hey.
And Jade Osborne, Christopher Saliup. Is that what that is? I don't. Fuck. Kate with no last name. No. Susan York Duquette. Samantha Diffendaffer.
That's an awesome name.
It is.
That sounds like the name of a candy.
Yeah, it
like
does.
Like a Fun Dip. It's a Diffendaffer. It's like the knockoff Fun Dip, or the good Fun Dip, we'll say. You know what? You're the good Fun Dip lady.
Fun Dip is the knockoff of the Diffendaffer.
That's right. Yep, that's right.
Alexis Tompkins, Benny Nielsen, Amanda Petrovito, Lindsay Roloff. I wrote a really terrible way of whatever your last name is. Larry Butterfass, Alex Capel, Casey and Trisha, Jenny Wallace. No, just Jen Wallace. Peter Falconer. Or Falconeer, Stephanie Miller, Tenley Pocket Robin Cotton, Hayden Stouffer, Caitlin Taylor, Nikki Ritteroff.
Hey,
she's in Chicago. Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
Timothy Young, Auntie. Our auntie sent us money. Thank you. Liz Brunner, Andrew Paulson, Jeff Watts, Kristen Otero, Simone with no last name, Daniel Blagio, Crystal Lamb, Andrew Batters, Norman Sather, Matt Sledge, Allie Cannon, Hannah O'Mary. And she donated twice. Thank you, Hannah.
Oh, thank you so much.
Danielle Hansen, Brad Peters, Fran Scholl, Becca with no last name, Amanda with no last name, Male Lady Autumn, John Walker, Cal, what did he say? Oh, he's a vet. Thank you so much, Cal.
Thank you.
He wrote us something like insanely nice, and I forget. Oh, you know what it was? We help him with his PTSD.
No
and
shit.
That fucking,
Appreciate you, brother.
The VA because they don't help, but we do.
Thanks for sharing that with us, brother. Appreciate that, man.
Neil Campbell, Jack Smith, Samantha Golden, Paige Parker, and Jordania in Texas. That's what that is. Rebecca McDonough, Karen Edgen, hang in there. Brendan Abels, Jesse Hartman, Katie Case, Jana with no last name, Karen Weiss, Frankie and Skippy. I think those might be dogs. Maybe they're people.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Patch,
Yeah.
Patch is a bitch. Sorry, Patch. Brittany
Patch.
Hart. Yes, that's what that is.
Patch getting the what for?
Yeah, I know, for no reason. Liz Vasquez, thank you, and thanks for the gifts you send, Liz. You're terrific.
Yeah, thank you,
Dana
Liz.
Grayson, Tyler Gwill, Stephen Schnell, Jason Fuller. Those are like a bunch of dudes.
That's our OGs
they've been
there.
around for
Dana
a long
Grayson,
time.
Jason
Thank
Fuller.
you.
Man.
John Deere, I think that's Deere, D-E-H-R. That's Deere, right? I think so.
Yeah.
Or Dare.
Dare.
I don't know. Ryan Shank, Gary Howard. Thanks, Gary. Carol Braun, it's been a while.
Thank you.
Since we've seen you. Thanks for coming around.
Really?
Travis Diarmente? No, Diarment. Fuck. I don't know if I was supposed to put an E on that. James Price, Sinfully Delightful, Clean Eating. Ashley Levitai, Roxana Hernandez, Stephen Crumley, Victoria Saunders, Amber Thunstrom, that's what that is. Guy Rillo, Troy Lindsay, Hannah Bragg, Damian Barney, Jana Gilbertson, that's what that is. Mike Kennedy, every time he donates to, I'm like, take that, Mike, you fucking twat. I knew you liked us.
Yeah, and it's not you, not the Mike that donated to us. You're not a twat. You're fantastic.
But every time you do it, I say,
yeah,
that's my dude.
Yeah.
Whitney Gregory, Kurt Van Hook, Rachel Stora, Hannah O'Mary, that's the one that donated twice. See, I knew it. Callie Shinkunis, BT Bullet, and they donated to somebody else, and we're hoping that we would say their name first. So I hope that we got it.
Hopefully we threw it down.
Bang, deal with that. Amanda
we come out on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have no,
I don't know.
No other recourse.
Abdul John or Jan, Rosalba Avalos, rmpchicagoevents.com. They do like weddings and proposals and shit like that.
Go get married.
There you go. Krista Walker, Kelsey Grosbeck, Eric Langenecker, Rebecca Hart, Casey Huffman, Sandra Gaither, Annabelle's House, Haus, but Annabelle Blue is the one that donated. Thank you.
Thank you.
Katie Ives, Angela, and Justin Miller. Thank you both. Ashley Vio, Stephanie Smith, Reagan Shalkley, Jibs Trash and Treasure in Wisconsin. I don't know what that is.
Visit them.
Go find them.
Sounds neat.
Jordan Bennett, Jennifer Castle, Stephen Rude, Allison Morris, and all of our Patreon supporters. Thank you all so much. We see you.
Thank you, you amazing bastards.
It's true.
We appreciate you. Honestly, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you. You really are the fucking heroes of the show that keep this bad boy going. So thank you for everything that you do. And what if somebody wanted to tell you all about their Pocket Robin t-shirt? Jimmy, how could they do it?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks, on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. And it's really becoming overwhelming. It really is. And I really appreciate it. And I like the struggle. So thank you guys very much. Where can they overwhelm you?
You can get me at Jimmy P is funny, or just copy and paste my last name from the show description and save yourself a little bit of trouble of trying to figure out how to spell it. Do all of that. Follow us and keep hanging out and keep coming back, because we're going to keep coming back. Yeah. You can't fucking stop us, goddammit. You can. By the way, next week, bonkers fucking case.
Great.
Absolute, like this, not even close.
This was ridiculous.
Yeah, it gets worse next week. It was crazier. Crazy.
It was too real.
It was pretty real.
A lot of weeks I try to people ask me how do I deal with this and listen to like the story. Like since the one in Baraboo, I just disassociate, and this is just all a silly thing that you made up.
Yeah,
this week was too real.
Yeah, this week there's a lot of connecting real shit there, but
it feels.
Whew, man. Well, until next week, everybody. It's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.